Take a breath, Dan.
Yeah, does it look like I've got a shrunken head?
You, you have got a shrunken head.
Looking like a real bad pinhead with his.
Uh, I don't know. Are you going to start doing a Beetlejuice impression or something?
I'm like
Jump in
Star
the
Trek or
line,
something.
everybody. Anyhow, come on. Episode 51. Back in the room. Back in the room here. We got to fucking smash this now. I'm Dan Watson.
Oh, Paul Sloggett. Welcome to the
Yes.
dirt.
Yes.
Happy
Fucking
with that one,
nailed it.
Dan.
We got this now, haven't
Do we
we?
do another take or not, just in case?
I'm Dan Watson.
I'm full fluff. Oh, fuck it.
That's it.
Fluffed it, man.
Shut up. Let's get him in here. Benton Jackson, all the way from the USA. Man, this guy is a bit of a free ride legend, a bit of a legend within the sport as a general, as you will find out if you care to listen to the rest of this episode. Admit. Let's get him in here. You coming real quick first time? Yes. Can you hear
All
it?
right. I can hear you. Yeah.
Hello.
Perfect.
Am I good? All right.
We're all good. We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for coming on.
Dude, it's such an honor. It's such an honor to be on with you guys. And I love what you guys have been doing in the last year. You really brought, I think, a lot of people in the sport together, you know? Yeah.
It's excelled all of our, dreams and visions that we ever had for it. Started off just an idea for us to keep a mental record when we grow old, but it's grown and
Right.
and 51 episodes in, going for the 100 now.
Yeah. Well, let's start off the next 50, man.
That's it.
Let's
Let's get in there.
So yeah, Benton Jackson, all the way from
Colorado. I live in a small town called Gunnison, Colorado. It's kind of in like the center of the mountain part of the state. If you look at, Colorado's a big square, and if you take half of it, it's all mountains on the west, and then the other half is farmland. And so like the Front Range, Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, that's all right on the edge of the mountains. And that's where I grew up, in the Springs. And then I've kind of been living in the mountains for about the last 10 years or so, off and on. So kind of bounced around the state. I'm just a big fan of Colorado, man. I'm a Colorado boy. So,
well, to be fair, with the terrain you got there ain't a lot of point going elsewhere, is there?
When I was growing up, and we'll kind of get into this, but all I wanted to do was go to Europe. I wanted to go teach snowboarding in Europe, after college, and I just kind of kept finding more stuff to do in Western Colorado, and then between snowboarding the summer and then Moab in the spring and fall, it's kind of it's hard to snowboarding in the winter. Snowboarding in the winter, yeah, it's pretty good. And
I mean, you've not got the sea though, have you?
We don't have the sea. No,
there's not much surf going on, I should imagine.
That's why I get out to the sandstone. Yep.
Nice.
Yep, that's how I think of it.
So, yeah, I mean, born and raised there, you've been in this game, this sport, mountain boarding, for quite a long time now, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I wasn't actually born in Colorado. I was born in North Dakota, about 30 minutes from Canada, out in the middle of the prairie there. My dad was in the Air Force, and he worked with nuclear missiles. And so all the missile silos, there's like thousands of missile silos all over the uninhabited, mountain plains, the Great Plains. And so, yeah, but my parents met in Southern California. And so I was lucky enough to spend some time there as a kid. After my grandpa passed, I had a week there with my aunt and uncle, and I got to boogie board every day and at the ocean when I was about 11. And that kind of,
I love the fact you called it boogie boarding.
Oh, boogie board, yeah. What do you got? Bodyboarding?
If anybody's, I don't. What do they even call it? Because I only call it boogie boarding. No. What is it, Sloggs?
Yeah,
it's not surfing. When you do the,
How does it go down?
Boogie boarding.
I think bodyboarding.
Bodyboarding. That's it. Bodyboarding.
Yeah. So that was like that was my first thing. And then that kind of got me, all I wanted to do was be a surfer and move to California. So yeah, I've been in Colorado Springs since I was about 10. And but all I wanted to do was move to the ocean, you know, be a surfer. And so I got into surf mags, and that was probably the first time I saw a mountain board was in those mags, because they all had like long boards and carve boards, like the ones without bindings that you could carve really quick. And I saw a Coney Kama jump in this river in Alaska on an Outback. And I thought, man, that's amazing. Like, you know, I don't have an ocean. Like that's the way to go right there. So, and are
we assuming this is what, late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah. This is like 99, 2000. And I even had like a red, like a radio flyer wagon. My dad put some like giant tires on it, and I would take that around the neighborhood, like going, you know, me and my buddy would fly down these streets going like, you know, I don't know, 30 miles an hour without brakes, you know, and wadding up and eating it. But that was kind of the first love, was just like the, you know, wheels. I always liked wheels, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then actually when I was 8 years old, I found my first time ever on a board. I saw, walking home from school every day, and like when I was 8 years old, I saw this penny board in the gutter. And, you know, I didn't take it. It took me like 3 days. I was seeing if anybody picked it up. Nobody picked it up. So I picked it up, and it was like a 1970s like penny board. And I rode that thing. That was like the first time on a board.
Nice.
But
yeah, that's what I started. That's my first board as well. I've got one upstairs still.
Man. Dude, that's so fun, right? I mean, like all kids should just have like a little skateboard to mess around on. So.
Yeah, I think my first one was like some little fiberglass jobby as well, but it laminated in it. It just had in like a graffiti style writing skateboard on it, and
right,
turn on it, some proper like the red urethane, like slalom style wheels, little skinny trucks.
Yeah, exactly. This real skinny trucks. Yep.
So how old were we talking when you seen this mag with a Coney in it on the advert? How old were you then? You look like
so that's like so I was born in 87, so I was like, you know, 13, and so I would say like summer of like 2000, fall of 2000 is when I was like, okay, I need to get into mountain boarding. And you know, being in the Springs, everybody kind of knew MBS is based there, and you know, it's a town of about 500,000 people, so it's fairly large. But at my high school, I think at one point like eight kids had mountain boards at once. So it was like we were riding that wave, you know. We were watching commercials with, you know, Jay Lee jumping out of a helicopter, like a Nissan Xterra commercial. And then all those dudes, there's like a Ford commercial where like Leon and Austin and Jay are jumping a bus. You know, I don't know if you guys remember those, but to me, it was like this established thing that I needed to get into, you know.
Well, if you're getting blasted with that on your TVs, I mean, we didn't have the TV commercials. We've only seen those in subsequent years,
right,
via the internet, and obviously, I mean, we're familiar with them because you can't forget old matey calling down the mountain to phone himself an ambulance.
Classic, right? Yeah.
But yeah, like the visual media, like we didn't have the American cable network on this side of the pond.
Right.
It was all visual via, I suppose, old copies of the random odd copies of Orb magazine, which, you know, I know was a big thing over there. And we had ATB mag, but I think that only started maybe 2000. Somebody called me up on this 2001, 2002, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it's a good shout, Dan. It's there or thereabouts.
Yeah,
it's good enough for us.
Yeah.
Vague memories, not real facts. But was there like a school club then, as such? You're saying like having 8 kids there, or did you?
No, like, it was we had it was just kind of I think the first time was MBS did like a learn to ride at a local park, this place Cottonwood Park. Right. And my friends came to school the next day and were like, "Oh, we rode the mountain boards like with the MBS team." And I was like, "What? Like that's so cool, you know, like I gotta get into it." And so started researching boards, and I was like, am I gonna get like a Mongoose board or an Outback? I was looking at like the MBS Gremlin, was like this green frame board at the time.
Nice.
And I was like, I guess that's the one because it's like a price point. So Christmas 2000, I still didn't have a snowboard, so I wanted like a snowboard and a mountain board, and my parents were kind of like, mountain boarding kind of seemed unsafe. They weren't sure. So I got a snowboard for Christmas in 2000, which is awesome. Amazing parents. And so then it happened to be St. Patty's Day, 2001. Just I got a board at REI. Do you guys have REI in the UK?
No.
It stands for like Recreational Equipment Incorporated. It's just a big sporting goods, like camping, really center like performance camping gear.
I suppose like a decathlon we have over there.
Yeah, that sounds a bit decathlon, doesn't it? Like a supermarket for sports.
Yeah, they had like displays. They had like looped video, and then the boards on display. And so I would just go in there and just like, man, I can't wait, just dreaming, you know. And they had videos of guys in Japan just carving on grass. And I mean, everything was just firing for MBS at that time. I don't like the amount of investment and just behind it, like the ads and everything. It was just an amazing time where it was like, this is this thing that's happening. And, you know, I had a big hill in my backyard. I had like a perfect roll in. And so I couldn't wait to get into it. First board was a Grasshopper. And a week into it, I ran it down this dirt driveway, this house getting built, and straight into like a 90-degree curb, ripped off the front truck. And dude, I'd been like saving for months to get a board. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, just splintered. And my dad's like, oh, well, I get some sheet metal and we'll fold it around back together. But then I called MBS and they're like, I don't know. We're going to have to like sell you a razor deck. But just come down to the factory. And so my dad and I went down there, and they ended up giving me a blemished Grasshopper deck for like $10. Like the graphic was just a slight blemish. And they gave me a full tour of the factory. And this is, 13 years old. I'm seeing,
this is Charlie in the chocolate factory.
Dude, they got like 20 employees or something. It was like this whole thing of like, they had an office crew, accounting crew, and then guys in the back building boards. And I had heard about this thing called the stealth board, where it was like springs that you crank. They had like big cranks on the springs instead of the Allen key. Yeah. And so it was adjustable suspension. It was kind of like, and like I think it was a carbon fiber deck or something. But I remember seeing Dave Sansoni like in the back, and they were like, he was like giving a review to these guys about how it was. And I just thought, man, this is so cool. This is so cool. And then, so that was March. And then it took me 2 weeks to learn how to power slide. I just want everybody to know that, like, it took me like 2 weeks to learn how to like, all right, you basically just have to sit and then just not quite sit down. Yeah. And you can get it. But I worked on that for like 2 weeks just to get that.
Hey, and, there is the building blocks, the foundations of good riding. It don't matter how good you are, if you ain't learned that, you ain't going nowhere without, if you want to put on a mountain, how are you going to stop?
Right. And like, yeah, I mean, it is the basis, right? I need to go practice more these days, just kind of hash it out. But then, so I guess that takes us to like, I heard about a contest. Somehow I heard about a contest, and it was at the local BMX track. It was this place called Rampart BMX track. Yeah. And it's like where the MBS team would train, we heard, And so my buddy and I would go over there like once a week. We're trying to like get the track down. And then they had a contest there. and it's my buddy Dave Carey, and my buddy Tim Cutter was riding before this. Got a shout out to those guys, the real OGs, Mike Tuthill. But then, so yeah, show up at the contest, and I couldn't practice because I didn't sign. My parents dropped me off, and they're going to come back like when it was actually started. I was just warming up, and so they wouldn't let me like warm up on these jumps or anything. So I just was like sitting there reading this copy of ORB Mag over and over again, and it was a Coney on the cover, and he was at Moab, and I was like, man, that's like okay, so like that's it. Like Moab is the ultimate. So from the get-go, I was like, Moab, like that's the way to go. And I was just sitting reading this mag, and Jay Lee comes over, says, hey, what's up? Introduces himself. And I met Joel, and they had like the whole pro team had this 14-foot, they called it the accelerator ramp. It was just like a 14-foot steep roll-in, and then it was like a high jump bar. Mm-hmm. And then they also had a rail, and that was the first time ever seen a mountain board doing a rail slide. But yeah, I got first in this border cross contest. It was me, my friend Dave Carey, and this dude Rob Hadwell. I think he was from Brighton, Colorado, and he was on a like big knobby frame board, and he still like almost beat me. This guy was like pumping through this track on this heavy board, and I like barely beat him. So yeah.
I gotta say, I'm still a massive lover of the frame boards. There are a couple over there. But
they are beasts, man. They are hard to ride, but I mean that's the basis. If you can ride
on the right terrain, they're incredible to ride.
Yeah,
but you can get a little bit carried away a little bit easy with them.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good going. First comp. First place, what was that? Under 14s, was it then?
Yeah. It was junior division, like
a bronze category.
Yeah. And so like that summer, school's out. I'm about to head into like high school, and just kind of riding every day. I rode every day, just around my neighborhood, cruising around, and then one day I get a call from Jay Lee, and he's like, hey, we got this kids board coming out, and we're trying to do a photo shoot. And I'm like, dude, I was like pretty tall. I was like 6 foot, like when I was like 13, dude. Like I was not like a little kid. I was just like tall, gangly dude, like always still trying to learn my body. Right. And I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So me and my best friend, Mike Slattery, I was like, yo, can my buddy Mike go? He's like, yeah. We met up with Jay and this real stylish rider, Jordan Orada, who was, I think he was like 17, 18 at the time, but he would just like ride like no pads, no helmet, and just like skate style. Really cool. And so we went out, got photos for it was like called the Ambush Junior or the Jeep CJ5.
Yeah.
That whole. Yeah, so I was like on the cover of that board. Like me and my buddy Mike, our photos are all over that board. And
for the record, if you don't know that board, I was looking the other day at a Jeep CJ5 for my 6-year-old daughter. If it's the one that I'm thinking,
dude, that's perfect.
Little skate truck.
Yeah,
it's a perfect board for her.
It is
perfect board for a 6-foot guy.
No, dude. Honestly, it was like. Yeah, it was tough. And I think they put me on like Ambush, like the next one up to kind of make it look like a junior board. But it was kind of like, luckily we pulled it off. I don't know. We pulled it off.
You could have had one on each feet.
Dude, exactly. Exactly. No doubt. It's hilarious, right? And but then so we get back and Jay's like, okay, you guys you guys get any board you want. And so we both picked comp 26 because that was the most expensive one, right? And so we got that. We got some like hoodies.
Straight to the opposite end of the spectrum in size there as well.
Completely. Yeah. Yeah. So we got, straight up, comp 26, hoodies, riding pants, fingerboards, like the Razor fingerboards, posters signed by Jay. Exactly, dude. Like we got just hooked up off the bat, and I was like, that was easy, you know, just like I'm just out riding. Jay calls me up and we get some gear. Like, let's go with this, you know? So I always thought it was going to be that easy the rest of the last 20 years, you know? And it's never been that easy to get
not ever seen
anything like that.
You gotta start earning it.
I mean, I've been doing so much gnarlier stuff and better videos and everything, but you know, it just I'll never be as hooked up as that time. You know?
You got it all on, like, it's like playing for it on credit card. You're just getting it up front and you're still going to pay for it all.
Yeah.
You must have been so stoked at that age just for that to sort of land in your lap.
Oh, dude, completely. It was like, it was unreal. Like, I couldn't believe it. I felt like a huge, like, I felt like I had to like really, you know, own it. I felt like from there, I was like, okay, well, I gotta show Jay what's up. You know, I gotta take this thing. And, so I actually, at that point, I actually had the Grasshopper, actually like took that back to REI and I got her Soul 16 and I took that back. And then I ended up getting a Razor before this. So then I set up the Razor with the Comp 26, the 16-inch multi-shock, the aluminum trucks.
Right.
Because that was like kind of what all the pros were riding at the time. So that board was just like solid. And I had that deck for like the next 2 years until the Comp 16 Pro came out. Mm-hmm. But back to 2001, second comp would have been the Cloud 9 Throwdown. But it ended up getting snowed out. And the night before I met Don Baker for the first time. And this dude, Willie, dude. Yeah. Don Baker, this dude, Willie, who's on Outback, like all these like California dudes who came out to the Springs. But unfortunately that event got rained out and everybody sessioned High Drive instead. When High Drive is this 3-mile like downhill dirt road. And that fall we had a contest there where it was the first hike and ride. So you basically, you know, gun goes off, everybody runs up a mile to the top of the hill, and then you go down, I think it's like 2 or 3 miles.
You got carry board up as well?
Yep, you carry board up, everything. And I think we had like 50 competitors or something at the time. It was cool, man. There's so many like women in the sport at that time. It was like moms and daughters that worked at MBS. I got a shout out to Rose Pennington and her daughter. Just like, yeah, man. And this dude Paul Fay, who was at MBS, who would always, anytime you had a broken deck, you go through Paul Fay because he would hook it up. Everybody else, I think, would ask questions, but Paul Fay would be like, "What do you guys need?" And he'd bring us the decks. Yeah, that guy was awesome. But yeah, dude, High Drive 2001. I still didn't know how to go fast or like racing or anything, so barely make it down this thing, and I think I'm in like 5th place in my division or whatever, and then. Who comes past me is Charlie Lee beat me, Joel Lee's wife. Yeah. So I got beat by a girl in my first downhill contest, but because my buddies always like tease me about that. But if you know Charlie Lee, you know that like she's no girl, man. She's a badass woman, and yeah, it was an honor. But I always just think that was so funny, like me washed out, and then she just like cruised past me.
Well. Joel has at some point in this, we will go to Joel's question because he has graciously sent it in.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we could do it now if you want. I don't know if
sure. Now. Yeah, let's do it.
Relevant to this particular moment in the story, or
yeah, I think so.
Let's get him in here. Where are we? This one here. Turn them up.
What's up, Benton? Before I get to my question for you, I'd like to say congratulations on your beautiful baby girl, Esme. That's super duper exciting. You're going to be the best dad ever because you're totally creative and awesome, and you have killer dad eyebrows and all that. And also wanted to say thank you so much for being the best possible guide that I could have imagined out in the desert, both physically, geographically, spiritually. You did everything we needed you to do, including getting us up early as that morning with only 1.5 hours sleep, when even Dylan was having a hard time motivating. You got us all up and on the rock at a critical time to get those shots. So that was really special, and the trip was special. My questions, potentially plural for you, are first of all, what has either, it's kind of like choose your own adventure. What has mountainboarding taught you about being a father? What kind of translates there? And or what has becoming a father taught you about mountainboarding? Choose your own adventure. And the next one is just kind of like, I want to know how you see the lines that you see. Is it the eyebrows, or is it special glasses, or you just seem to see lines that other people don't. And I want to know, is that a trick, or is that something that I can learn? Love you. And I'll hope to see you again very soon out on the rock. Bye-bye.
Nice.
Love that guy.
Well, exactly.
He's amazing.
It's one of those things. He's so gracious to have come on for us, the show, a couple of episodes back, and to have him call back in and still be a part of the show is just awesome. So thank you, Joel, for saying that.
Man, I mean, dude, shout out. That guy has done so much. I mean, when we say MBS did this or did that, it's the Lee brothers, PMC in there, but yeah, it's like, but yeah, fatherhood and being it, dude. First of all, anybody out there who thinks mountain boarding is hard, including myself, being a father is 1,000 times dude, so much harder. Like it doesn't even compare. If you want to learn something on a mountain board, you want to do a 900, 1080, all corked out, you just go do the same thing for 3 months and you'll do it. Like anybody out there who thinks that they aren't good at mountain boarding, want to get better, just go ride a bunch and you'll get better. Seriously. But being a dad, like you can't be prepared for that at all, because it's like this puzzle that's just constantly changing on you. It's like a sculpture that's melting constantly, and then it just gets smashed and you're just putting it back together. But it's the most beautiful process. And as far as like being a father of mountain boarding, the first thing that comes to mind with me is relationships, man. Like I wouldn't to me, mountain boarding is all about the people that I've met over the last 20 years, man. Like incredible personalities. People are just into like just weirdos, straight up weirdos, man. And like the craziest people that you just like come through, stick around. But the most adventurous people around, man. Like anybody who's riding a mountain board is clearly not afraid of being different, not afraid of trying something that's difficult. I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard to ride a mountain board that we're all humbled. I think we're just all completely humbled anytime you step on one, because even like Tom Kirkman, the guy's humble than anybody.
Yeah.
And then reading lines, that's taken a while, I think. So for me, it's like, as far as like Moab goes, I just spent so much time. I just love being in the desert, regardless of being on a board or whatever. It's always just been being out there. And so I think just kind of learning, being comfortable in the desert, learning, you go deeper. It's like there's rock layers. There's different, if we're talking about Moab specifically, there's like Entrada sandstone and there's Navajo sandstone. And so there's different textures. And so I think when you're reading lines, so there's a language there, and the language is water. You're literally trying to figure out how water flows, and then you're either going to go with it or against it, and to power through. And so there's that, but then a lot of that translates for me. It's always been snowboarding. Like I've snowboarding in the winter as much as mountain boarding in the summer. It's always been like a balance. And so my favorite time to go to Moab is like end of the snowboard season, April. You know, you drop off, you board, you go out to Moab. It's kind of cold in the mountains. You go out to Moab, it's like perfect weather, and your legs are solid.
Yeah,
your mind is keen because you've been reading lines all winter, and so you get out there, and I just feel like I'm on a snowboard on the rock.
Yeah.
So
how big is Moab in terms of like land size,
dude?
And how much has been explored?
It's endless, and we haven't explored any of it, man. It's like it's incredible. Like, we've been going back to the same kind of spots for a lot of years, because it's just kind of hard to, you either spend time exploring or you spend time riding. And so I think a lot of times we just want to go to the hit 'em up spots. This last time, actually last spring, Jay and I were going out there. We're meeting up with everybody who's kind of doing the big meetup. And the first day, I don't think it's kind of rainy, so we're the only ones around. And Jay and I were able to just like, okay, we're scouting this new zone. We brought like photos, Google Earth photos with us. Like, we're going exploring new terrain, no matter what happens. And it was the craziest stuff the best stuff we've ever seen. So unfortunately, it's not quite legal in that zone, because there's only a few places where you can legally ride on the sandstone. So to be more specific, Sloggs, there's only a few places where you can legally ride on the sandstone, but there's a lot of places where you can where it's frowned up. It's not really enforced, but you can't really just go mountain biking off trail a lot of these places, because it's like US government land. And so, but there's no rangers out there. Like, so that place called Quesos, where I go as like backpacking trip, gone out there a few times. That's like really far and deep into Utah, and that's kind of by Lake Powell, and that's super uninhabited. Like, nobody's out there. There's no reason for anybody to be out there. There's no plants, there's no animals, which is perfect for us. Yeah. And so you get out there and it's just dead quiet. There's no noise. I mean, it's like another planet. So there's so much out there to explore. And so, yeah, I want to keep going out there, but that's a big effort. But I love the idea of backpacking and mountain boarding together, because to me, that's like the ultimate adventure, where you're out there expedition style. Yeah, but you don't want to eat it, because if you crash, if something happens, you are, you're at least an hour hike from the car, and then you're like an hour to the highway. Yeah. And then you're about 8 hours home. So it's out there, but
you want to be doing it with a couple of them.
It's really hard.
You probably wanted to be doing it with a couple of people. No,
definitely. And you kind of keep it conservative, trying not to get too crazy. But like, I look at some of those videos and it's like, dude, I should have eaten it like a lot of times. And, I don't really ride without a helmet anymore. Having a kid, I kind of just keep the helmet on. So,
yeah.
As a Brit, it's hard to like compute how big these areas are over in the US. It's hard to get your head around like that. You're 2 hours from a highway.
Yeah,
it's mental.
You say, I go quite often for a local ride, and as you just said, like, it's 8 hours to home and then an hour to the car. So that's 9 hours from home, and that's a local ride. Yet I can be coast to coast in the UK in about 7,
Right.
So it's like, that local ride?
Yeah. Well, that 8 hours is like really deep into Utah, but, but I guess it is still, it's still like from Denver to Moab, it's like, 6 hours or something, 5 hours.
That one state is effectively bigger than the whole of our country by quite a large margin.
Most states most states over there are bigger than the UK.
Yeah, I think like Colorado is like the same size as New Zealand or something. I heard once, like the same area. So
yeah, I think we're a comparable size to New Zealand. I think.
Okay, I think it's I've always thought about Colorado in the UK. That's 7 hours. It's like 7 hours across Colorado, 7 hours across UK. I always kind of think about that, but right now I'm about 3 or 4 hours away from Moab. So.
Yeah. Who needs Ask Jeeves when you can listen to the dirt for all your geography needs?
Dude, yeah, I love geography, and like Google. Like, I don't think any mountain boarder spent more time on Google Earth than me.
I tell you what, actually, Sloggs is a mad keen Google Earther for concrete for skating.
Oh, okay, man, that's cool. Yeah, because it's like.
Because there ain't none in the UK,
basically. So you're looking for that. Oh, cool. Interesting.
Spent hours and hours looking for a rideable pool in this country. Because every pool, any rich people in this country who've got a pool, got a fucking rectangle. And just spending hours trying to just look for these transitions.
Yeah. Dude, I'm out there looking at the deserts, just trying to find like, oh, is that smooth rock? Is that smooth rock? Oh, like, what about that? Is that too flat or that's too steep? And you never know until you get out there, because it's so hard to tell the scale of things.
That's it. I suppose. Do you have like Ordnance Survey maps in the US? Do you have the Ordnance Survey?
Oh, yeah, we get like quadrants.
Yeah, so can you overlay like the is it the topography where you go up and down? It gives you meters rise or fall in elevation compared to how close the lines are together.
Oh, dude, I'm always like flashing up layers, trying to dude, obsessed. I'm just like totally obsessed with trying to find like the lines. So yeah, when Joel's like question, like reading lines, man, it's like that's like been my hobby, is just like just devouring. Like, where's the perfect spot, where's the perfect, like, run into like a big step down and then it like comes back up or something, because a lot of it just goes deep into a canyon. It's like too steep, or it's flat, so it's good for carving but maybe not jumping. So trying to find a zone with all of that,
some of the burned walls though, like that we see.
Dude. Like, those walls, I mean, that's not super common, that kind of stuff. It's kind of that was cool about the last spot we found, call it the monkey's paw, and it's kind of like all like bowl shaped. So
and some of it was over there as well. Where the sandstone cut away.
Yeah, dude. And that's the best for like videos and photos, because you always kind of have like a different angle. Or you always have an interesting angle, like in a bowl, So, but
So I mean, we had the old MBS videos back in the day, the VHS videos of like that have now just been released or re-released on the down and dirty ones and stuff like that. And there was a couple knocking around that previous to that, but. As many of the UK and the Europe, that was all we knew of the American sort of riders or the American scene and what we were seeing you guys out there riding. So I suppose what I'm getting at is that it was so alien to us that it became so appealing, certainly for my taste. Like, I still think that like my spiritual home would be Moab. It's like to go there would be, for me as a mountain boarder, like going on a trip to Mecca or something like that.
Right.
Because we've got our own landmark places that are just incredible in the UK, and
that sort of fizzled on your brain, didn't it? Because it was somewhere else that you can. And like the thing was, these VHS and DVDs they were on, not everyone had a copy, so they'd be playing at mountain board centres in the cabin on permanent loop, and it'd just be on permanent loop, and it'd just be like going on in the back of your head all the time.
Right.
there in Grand Junction. That always is that right? Grand Junction, is that?
Yeah.
So that seems a bit more dusty than the Rock. Is that?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that'll be good. Here, I'll get back into the timeline here.
Yeah. Sorry,
no, this is perfect because so that was like 2001. I was saying, and like a bunch of our friends, like in high school, like everybody got broken off. Like so many kids broke their arms off the bat, and like so, like I said, like there's like 8 kids riding at first, but then like within a year, it was just like 3 of us were like still wanted to ride, right? And this kid Todd Lee, I remember he was like so excited to like join the crew and like got aboard, and like his first day on just broke both of his arms coming down this roll and just speed wobbled, broke his arms, like never again, you know. But anyways, just had to get that guy in there. But okay, Moab, first time Moab. My big bro, it was our spring break from he was in college, I was in high school. We went out to Moab. And I knew that Brack Lee and this guy, Zach Heisey, were going to be out there. And so they gave me directions to Bartlett Wash. And it was like, dude, this place like in the backcountry. I was like, oh, cool. Like going backcountry mountain boarding, you know, within a first year of on a board. And met these guys out, like, you know, like hiked out a mile, found them at this bowl. And it was just so cool. So Brack Lee, dude, from day one, showing me the way. And that guy was he was riding like Van Skate Park a lot with Dave Starfighter, and they were just kind of always posting little clips and photos of the skate park riding and like doing flips and hand plants and stuff. And then no, go ahead.
I was going to say Broccoli is and Dave, both familiar names, even on this side of the pond there. So to be riding with legends again quite early on,
dude, it's amazing what what these guys have done, you know. So 2002, that I was talking about that ramp system at my first comp. Jay calls me up one day and he's like, hey, we got to get rid of this ramp system, we're going to the dump unless you want it. And I was like, yeah, I want it. And dude, so they pull up with this trailer and it's Jay and then Jeremy Leaf happened to be in town. So they show up at my house, drop off this like giant ramp, and my mom's like, oh, it's like a huge ramp, like not really cool with like the neighborhood HOA, you know, homeowners association. But anyways, like had the jump set up, and this dude Zach Heberle's I think his like cousin or something came, took the rolling ramp back because I already had a hill in the backyard. I didn't need a rolling ramp. So he took that to Kansas and they lit it on fire the next year. Big bonfire. But then like, so Jay's like, hey, if you need some help setting up the ramp, call me up and we'll come help you. And so a few months later, I was setting it up, and he sent Josh Nepper and Leon Robbins to come to my backyard to help me set up this ramp. And so I'm like, holy, like who, like, this is amazing.
What the fuck's going on here? It's like a who's who of mountain boarding.
Yeah. Like, I'm not even like trying. I'm not even putting myself out there. I'm just trying, I'm just riding, and good things keep happening. Right. And then, and then that summer, 2002, we had a contest at Snowmass and then Copper in Colorado. It was a series, right? So it was like you get points, and dude, that was the first time I met like Jason Small Dog, and dude, seeing Austin Robbins like ride downhill, like nobody goes as fast as that guy, just standing up, just like not even, just like he's on a snowboard. Like that guy was incredible. But then I got first in these two downhill contests, but it was like a stopwatch, and I think I won by like half a second. So like we weren't doing like lasers like Matt Bryn style or anything, it was pretty crude. But I remember we had to have brakes. You had to have brakes required. You had to, just based on the insurance at the ski area, right? And so, but like Leon would just put his brake in his knee pad, and then just have his hands free. And I remember other dudes would take off their brake pads, you know, and just like, oh yeah, we got a break. But yeah, it's just, and that was like the whole like MBS Elements tour. So it was like, oh dude, there's like this pro team, they're doing this tour, and just looking up to those guys, you know. Yeah, I got some notes here. I'm just going down. Oh, and that was the summer I got a Powell Peralta Steve Caballero. It was like with the dragon on it.
The dragon belt, yeah.
Dude, I got like a mint condition one of those at this garage sale for $3. Oh. And so that board, probably, I think that I took that thing like the rest of my life, just cruising around in college and stuff. Always on this old pool deck, you know, and everyone had new skateboards and longboards, and I was like, dude, this thing just rips. And so I just ripped that thing forever. And so a lot of like my free riding ability probably comes from just ripping a skate around Boulder, you know, in college.
Loose tracks.
Yeah, pretty loose, kind of, you know, medium there. But then so yeah, 2002. So okay, I'll go into 2003 was a big one. So 2003, MBS moves locations, and they're actually just a few miles closer, actually into my neighborhood, you know, which is like a few miles away from me. They move offices, they have a new owner, and we had our dirt jumps, like our dirt jump park was this open space, and it happened to be across the street from MBS. Like we were already riding here, and then MBS happened to move in across the street, which is just crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so it was this place called the Bowl, and we built this giant roll-in, like, I don't know, 80 foot, like 75 foot vert, like out of, it was all this, you know, this big hill, and there was a dump pile at the bottom, and it was a big booter with kind of a slight hip on it. And so that's the one in Down and Dirty 2 with Sayre doing like that cork 7 over it.
Right.
Yeah, another one.
And so we're building this up, and Jay's like, hey, you guys better get this spot together, like really good, because they're going to film Down and Dirty 2 in March. You know, like Leon and Austin and Sarah, they're all coming. We're like, oh man. So every day after school, we would like build this thing. And there's dudes who didn't even mountain board who were like coming out to dig just to like be part of it. You know,
Nice.
so those are like my favorite days, man, just digging out there. And oh, what about this? Oh yeah, let's put that in. I'll never forget first day meeting Sarah White. We had this like 4 foot little like down flat down handrail, and he just like rolls up, does a nose pick down the whole thing. And we're just like, who is this guy? We just thought Sarah was like the most badass dude, you know.
Did he have his bandana on at the time?
Oh, of course, dude. Of course. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I started like wearing a bandana after that, you know. But and then Sansone, dude, Dave Sansone. Dave Sansone was like a big bro to us. Like he would come out session and help us dig. You know, just a real positive dude who was you know, he was trying to just get prepared for the tours coming up, and he would come out and ride switch. You know, he like roll and switch and try all these switch tricks just to like kind of practice. And so, man, Dave Sansone, man, that guy is just amazing. Yeah.
I mean, maybe one day he'll come on, but he seemed to drop off the scene quite sharply from this side of the pond. Was it? Did he have an injury or something there? I don't know.
You know, I'm not sure. I think, dude, like you know, like a lot of us, he just kind of
moved into the next stage, or
it was like, is it worth, you know, from like the level that those guys were at to kind of like things shifting and the funding kind of dropping out. I don't really blame them for not really sticking to it, because I mean they were treated like rock stars, man, and they're putting their bodies on the line. Yeah. And it's probably hard to keep putting your body on the line when you're like, dude, nobody's supporting me, you know? Yeah. But dude, he was still riding strong through like 2007, 8. That dude was still killing it. So yeah.
I bet Sony happened to this.
Dude, that guy I'm sure he can tell some stories for sure. But then let's see. 2002 Iowa. I remember that's the first time I heard the word snake, like to like cut somebody off.
Yeah.
And I was on top of the starting line, and Austin Robbins is like, "Yo, just snake him." Like, what? Snake him? Like, what does that mean? And he just like told me to snake him. But yeah, 2002 Iowa. I met AJ for the first time, and like Ross Baker, all these kids, Justin Dersham, Brian Sinkar, and like I thought I was like really good coming in there, and like I wasn't that good. All these guys like beat me. They were just really good racers. But back to 2003. That was the first time I went to Grand Junction in Little Alaska. And yeah, me and Bijo, he was still mountain biking. Bijo wasn't even mountain boarding yet. And we hiked this thing, got some awesome photos and clips. And, you know, it was cool because we felt like, you know, we're like 15 years old and we're dropping the lines of our heroes. So like we're closing the gap, you know, it was always about closing the gap. But then you realize that the gap's a lot bigger than you think, maybe. But yeah, went out to Donner Summit, downhill in California. My parents took me out there. They're going to visit some friends too. I mean, amazing parents, drive across the country to Iowa, drive across the country to California. I think it was kind of like, so when I was growing up, like right before I started mountain boarding, I was playing a lot of soccer and I didn't make the better soccer team. I was always on like the shitty soccer team. Right. And so I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I'm not good at anything. Right. And then started mountain boarding, start winning stuff. You get, you know, it feels good. Right. It feels good. You got some support. You're like, this is where it's at. But so, yeah, went out to Donner Summit. That's where I met Cody. I hadn't seen him before, but I think that's where like Cody actually like talked to me. Came up and said hi, you know. I was like, wow, Cody's like saying hi to me. Because Cody was like, dude, chicken boots, dude. That dude was like, he was like spinning big stuff, and you know, he was just a hero, man. I mean, that guy, you know, can't wait. I know you guys will have him on at some point, right?
At some point, that would be like, when the planets align.
I mean,
he knows the door's open.
We're all looking forward to that one. Let me tell you,
El Presidente, come on, find us some time.
Yeah, and then we had like a nationals that summer. I think I got second to this dude Ben Livingston. That was the first summer I met Halston Rhodes. You know, I remember down and dirty. So we're all this snowmass village, and you know, everybody else is 21. They're in the bars, and there's a bunch of the junior riders. We're like, well, what are we gonna do? And it's like me, AJ, Halston, and we're just like wandering around, and we're trying to find a place to watch Down and Dirty too. and we never found a place for it, but we just like it sucks being like a kid. Yeah. When you can't go to bars or anything, you know. Because it's like, where are you supposed to go? Just like hang out with your parents, right? Yeah. What was that? And then 2003 I started working at MBS. Like I got my driver's license. So after school, is either, you know, riding across the street at our place, the Bowl, or we started doing shipping and interning at MBS. And so, you know, if somebody wanted a free sticker, I was a dude who like put the sticker in an envelope, wrote your address on it, sent it off. You got a hat, put the hat in the box, ship it off, you know. Every day from like 3 to 5, you know, we do the UPS stuff. And that was just cool because Joel was testing out parts. Joel was like always messing with like the resins and stuff this is after the Comp 16 Pro came out, which is right. That was like revolutionary, right? At the time.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, just the Matrix truck and
I mean, every single component, the bindings, everything about that. I mean, that board really changed things. I think they went a little too skinny, too quick. I think going from the Razor to the Comp 16, Comp 16 Pro, I think it was maybe a little too skinny, too quick. But I know that it was all about the weight. They're trying to save weight, and so I totally get that. And what's funny is that Sarah White was like, "Oh man, we were riding the new boards down this like road gap," and they were like, or no, he was flying down this road like free riding. He said the boards were too light. that you almost like need some more weight to free ride with. And so I always stuck in my mind of like, like weight distribution and like lighter weights. I think, and that's where we'll talk about Mapleton later, but I think a lot of it's like weight distribution more than like just total weight, yeah. But anyways, going back to MBS, working there, Joel, Jay, Pat, there's like really good music coming out. Like I didn't know a whole lot of music. Like I was pretty bland music tastes at that time. And just hearing those guys spinning records every day, like learning something new. They'd had this game where they'd always try to figure like how many people were in the band, It was like, 5-man, 3-man, like 3-piece, like drummer, bassist, guitar, piano. They'd always like just total music nerds, man. And so yeah, and I'm like a pretty big music nerd now. So I think that comes from those guys,
Definitely. Jason seemed to be massively into his music.
Oh man. Oh dude, nobody. Yeah, I've never met anybody who's gone to more shows than Jay Lee. Yeah.
And we see Elvis behind you. Obviously.
Yeah, so that's the Velvet Elvis, and that's an American Mountainboard award.
Right.
That's a free ride award right there.
Is that
and,
right? That is the shit. Yeah.
A Velvet Elvis.
You want to see it?
Yeah. Fucking right.
All right.
You'll have to describe it audio style for those listeners.
So apparently these are like really common back in the 70s or something. Like every house had like Velvet Elvis. Maybe it was after he passed, I guess. But it's got a few signatures on the back there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been going around 10 years now. It's 10 years old. There's a few recipients. I don't think it's kind of spent more time in the dark than in the light. But I'm bringing it back. So whoever's out there who's going to be the next Velvet Elvis freerider. So
it's beautiful,
Yeah. It's great, right? Yeah.
Do you want to stroke it, Dad?
Yeah.
Without
a doubt.
Yeah, so the next maybe the next Moab gathering, or who knows who will be worthy. But I was stoked to get
who gets to choose the winner? Is that like
the previous winner? The previous winner, yeah. So I think it was like E-Cart was the first one, and then Chris Adams, Dave Starfighter, and then Mecca gave it to Mecca Grandmont got it in Moab, and then Dave Starfighter gave it to me at the last April. So nice. It's a cool little award, man. It's cool. Like we don't have many traditions, so it's cool to have something like that, right? So
it's good to have a free ride award.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's I haven't really gone after any freestyle accolades in a while, so
it's not about the gold, it's about the velvet.
Dude, exactly. Dude, you said it, man.
I think we should get like a velvet, I don't know, Prince Charles. He's King Charles or something, like a velvet one of them.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah.
What, just Charles's ear or something? Yeah. Charles's velvet ear is for the free ride award. Where were we on your timeline? This is very good. I like this pre-planning.
Okay, yeah.
You've got your timeline down.
Dude, there's just so much like in those first few years. I don't know, maybe it's too much,
No. It's not at all.
Okay, because to me it's like the first like 5 years, dude. I met like everybody. I still like it all happened in the first 5 years, Yeah. And then everything else is just bonus, right? But 2004, that's like ATB Mag. I think I'm starting to see ATB Mag, like Kirkman's on the scene.
Yeah.
And like the UK it's kind of like before that the UK was kind of quieter, or just like kind of free ride-esque. And then 2004 you had the Weston Supermare. right? In like January, like that cold event, right? Arctic
the
Challenge.
Ice box, the Arctic
Challenge. The ice box, right? And like I was so wanted to go. I was like, man, I want to like fly out there and go. But it wasn't really, it wasn't really happening. And but just seeing that happen, and then like I was just wanting to go from that on. It was like, dude, I got to go over there, be with those guys, I got to see what it's like over there. But then I ended up going to Kansas for the first time in spring of 2004. First time without my parents going to an event. I was like so stoked, ride out in the MBS van. Joel, like Jay's driving, Joel's playing guitar. We had Brian Bishop from ORB Mag, Devin Garland, this dude, Fernando Gazzola from Brazil. Shout out that dude, man. He was awesome. It was cool. It was like, here, like I never met anybody from Brazil. And here's this dude from Brazil. And he had been a snowboard instructor in Colorado. And it was just cool, like meeting somebody. It was just so much different than me, a whole different language, and just trying, and I think that's always been like a big thing for me, is that, through mountain boarding, I'm like friends, like Facebook friends, even whatever, these dudes all around the world. And so when you hear like, oh, this country is so-and-so, or this country did this to this country, it's like, well, like I know this dude there. Like I saw some dude in Lebanon in a photo mountain boarding. Like obviously not everybody there is like of that way or whatever. So it's like, it kind of cuts it down where it's like, okay, these are just like governments fighting each other.
Yeah.
And
exactly that. Yeah.
And I think we can all see that it's like, I don't know, that was just a big thing for me, because it was like, oh, Afghanistan, Iraq at that time were like all these terrorists. And I was like, well, dude, I know there's some mountain boarders there. So like not everybody. And I think just that perspective of like knowing that there's something in common with everybody. I don't know. It's always been really powerful to me to like know that it's just, it's like overcoming peace or whatever. It's like mountain boarding. If everybody was mountain boarding, man, we wouldn't have any of these problems, right? So.
This is truth. I mean, we said right from the get-go, we don't want to cover anything political or anything like that within as a topic, like it should be about mountain boarding, because that's what we're all here for. Like when Pasha, bless him, did his episode, was right at the time that everything kicked off, and I was a bit worried, and like, oh, no, it's not about what's going on outside there. It's not about what's going on the hill. Exactly. You realize it's all propaganda, man. It's all just and the mountain board family, everyone, I can guarantee to you that every one of those people on those friend lists feel exactly the same way. And you could go to any of those countries and go, hey guys, I'm in the country, one shred. You would just get a ride, straight up, get put up overnight, you'd get food in your belly,
straight up. And if anybody's ever come to Moab, I'll try to get out there with you, or at least show you exactly where to go. I'll do everything I can. So, I think we all have that, which is just awesome, man. And it's just the human spirit, right? Like we get it. So
I think what we're saying is not everyone in the world's a dick. Some people mountain board.
There you go. Sum it up. Let's sum it up. Oh man. So yeah, dude, 2004, Snowmass. We had the US Open at Snowmass every year. And I think in that year I was like 15, 16. And I'd actually signed a contract with MBS like the year before. And that was like first and only time I ever signed anything with them. But it was like all these agreements of like how you're supposed to behave and everything. And I was like, those dudes aren't doing this. Like, I don't know, it was just funny. But yeah, you get hooked up, hooked it up. It was like the core team, I think I was. So yeah, it's just like it made me feel like I really had to perform, and so but then 2004 comes, and like the junior division was like it was like really junior, And then there's like the AMs, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do AMs. So me and my buddy Mike, we just raced pro that year. And dude, it was like, it wasn't like before that, it was like, all right, let's all hang out. We're mountain boarding together. Dude, you get in the pro gates and it was like everybody's pushing, dude. Like it's like, dude, like no rules. There's no, you're up against like a Coney and Dave and Leon, and it's like, dude, yeah, no mercy.
Everybody's there
at
for
all.
blood. You're in with the sharks now.
And that's when I stopped placing right then.
They all want to start. Yeah. They all want to win.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, and rightly so, there was so much on the line for those. I mean, there was so much investment. There was a lot of prize money, man. I get it. Like, I would have done the same thing. Push these little high school kids out of the way. Get out of my way. What are you doing? Yeah, and then what's that, 2004, I think our spot got plowed after that. So basically the history of our mountain board spots in Colorado Springs is just getting these open spaces that are beautiful, and then they just get bulldozed down and apartments go up. And it happened to the valley, and then to the bowl and a bunch of other spots. So that kind of like took the steam out, man. Like when you have your spot every day, it's awesome, and you can go dig, you can like build whatever you want. And but then that was gone, and we kind of had to find other spots, and that's all fun, but it takes a lot more work to go find stuff. But that would take me to like 2005. First time we had a Grand Junction event. Went out there, like another event without my parents. We're just like hanging out, bonfires and free riding, and we lit it like a rainbow rail on fire. We're sessioning it. Just fun times like that, man, where it's just like freedom, it's just you're out there just in the wild. What is
the terrain like more there? Because as we said earlier, it seems more dusty than the likes of the rock that you'd see at Moab.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's like a clay. I don't know. It's kind of soft, but then it can pack down. I think it really depends on like when you go.
Right.
And I think spring's really good because it's kind of wetter from like the winter, maybe. Summer it's a little dustier. But yeah, Grand Junction, man, there's so much, but it's kind of hard to just go wherever. You kind of have to stick to certain packed trails.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of place where if you put in some work and dig, like you can kind of just give it some time. But then that's kind of relatable to like the place we were at in Green River, which is really close to Moab, where I was there with Joel and Jay and Dylan in August. And man, I think if we had some more of the balloon tires, I think that's like the way to go out there. Is we really need some like bigger tires where you can just go anywhere. So
right, okay. It's about I think we can place this one in here.
Okay.
Hopefully it won't affect the timeline. There we go. Yeah, we can bring that one in later on. That's okay. Question from Evan Carlson.
All right.
Beautiful, sweet Evan. Questions for Benton. I've never met. I'm just calling the guy sweet Evan. I've never met you, dude. I don't. Sweet Evan.
He can be sweet. Yeah, he can be sweet. He can be salty. He can be very salty. Also,
please don't be salty with me.
Yeah.
He says this is the first time he's ever contacted me, and I'm not ripping you. You have to ride one place for the rest of your life. Pick one, intentionally excluding Moab. And he has listed a few here.
Right.
But he's got a second question. It was a second question that sparked me here. Rampart Range, Colorado, Central Park, New York City, Linden Outing Club, Burke Bike Park, Vermont, Grand Junction, Colorado. Do all of those places make you?
Yeah. Ben, love all those places.
Did you say Central Park, New York?
Yeah. There's a good we 2014 Evan was living in New York City working for a magazine, and Bijo was living with him for a bit, and I went out there, rode with those guys, and Bijo and I spent an afternoon in Central Park, and we made an edit. If you guys get a chance, go to like Vimeo, check out Bijo's page, BEEJ. He's got he's got a lot of awesome edits from back in the day on there. Yeah.
We do have a question in from him as well.
Cool.
We'll get to shortly.
But as far as which one, oh man, like I don't know if you guys saw that the recent, like the one with me going down that grass hill super fast without a helmet. That's
the question on that. That's the
Linden.
You are
Linden Outing Club
ass down there.
Yeah, that was not the plan. The plan was to carve really gently from back and forth. Like I don't really try to go fast these days. I'm trying to like stay in control and just.
See, I should have asked Emily's question right now. I need to ask.
How are you staying upright? Going
dude, I have no idea. No idea.
Little drop section. I've watched it loads of times, and every time I just go, "Ow!"
Dude, I'm right. I have no idea. I did not want to go that fast. I was trying to carve, and it's like really thick on the sides, but it's so thick that it would have stopped me, But usually my MO is to stay in the weeds and kind of bounce back and forth. And but yeah, dude, it just got away from me. I was like, you just got to, you know how we all know how it goes. Once you can't turn, you got to point it.
That's it. You got to lock and load.
I've got a question on that one. Did you go back to the top of the hill and try it again?
No. We were done. It was like, I think we were like trying to go. We kind of had some stuff to do. We were going mountain biking later and stuff, but it's a big hill to hike up, and dude, it's like hot. It was like sweaty, and it's like kind of brutal out there sometimes. But dude, I would have to say, probably like if I could ride one place besides Moab, Rampart, Colorado is really good. A lot of granite boulders. You guys have probably seen all that. I mean, Rampart, Endless is awesome. But like the grass hills, like the ski areas in the Northeast, like Burke Mountain and Hunter Mountain, New York, I've never felt like that before. I've never felt like I could just go anywhere and it's smooth. So in Colorado, all the ski areas, it's all just rock in the summertime.
Yeah.
And it's just like gnarly. Like you have to stay on like the trails or roads. But out there, it's just like smooth grass, especially when it's mowed. I mean, I don't think there's anywhere better in the world. Like, yeah, I don't know. Anywhere I've been, definitely like upstate, like the Northeast, man, which is interesting because that's like the population center of the US and like the highest density. So you would think that it would be more popular, but it just hasn't really been, it's just not really been shown the right way, but it's a gold mine out there, man. Like,
maybe it's
unreal.
Different cable channels. Maybe they didn't get the MBS adverts.
Dude, they didn't. No, they gotta get some guys jumping out of helicopters and sell some boards. Yeah, that's the truth.
But Ben, Evan's second question, which is what pinged me in it, it said, if you could bring back any product from the past, what would it be? And again, he gives a couple of examples, but allows you to pick your own. The razor, the bubble tires, or snowboard bindings.
Not snowboard bindings.
there is a smiley face after that one,
dude, which is cool. But I remember Jeremy Leaf was like using snowboard bindings when he would do like the one-footed backflips and stuff back in like 2002. That's how he won the national championship. I remember he was using those bindings. So yeah, Jeremy Leaf's the only dude who I ever saw actually ride those bindings well, like with like regular shoes. Dude, products from the past. That's a hard one because, I think like the new products, dude, like the new MBS stuff, I think is is really good. And but I think, you know, the Razor, the Comp 16, I think, like I said before, I think we got a little too skinny, too quick with the decks. And so I think like that rate, like something between the Razor and the green Comp 16 would be like an ideal kind of board for me. Just like wide. Yeah, those boards just ripped, man. Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
The 16, the original 16 has got a massive place in my heart.
Yeah. I never actually had one of those. But all my friends did. Yeah. I just always had the Razor.
I want a Razor.
Taking the Razor down tonight.
Dan's got a bloody Razor, isn't he? Obviously. I've always wanted a Razor. It's just when you look at the deck, it's just so well made and so.
They don't. So this was made in Colorado as well, aren't they? Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah. I'm not really sure on all which factories were and everything, but dude, I thought it was so cool because seeing Emlyn ripping a Razor like these last few months. I was like, well, like that just shows you like there's still something there, you know?
Yeah, it's still solid,
dude, and you know, and they don't really break. Like I've never seen a Razor crack. Jay Lee still rides Razors, you know. That's like his go-to like cardboard, you know. He's got the Jay always has like two boards. He's always got the Razor and then like the freshest MBS board, you know. So he's always got his bases covered. Yeah.
Will you be I suppose we can ask you this. It would be leading slightly onto Mapleton. I don't know where are we on your
let's see. Let's see here. I think we can. I think I can breeze through some. Yeah, let me just breeze through some stuff here. If that works.
Go for it.
Yeah. So like 2007. Okay, 2006. 2005. I'm moving up to Boulder. You think I'd have it because I got it written down. But, 2005. I go to college, uni, as you guys call it.
Yeah.
And studying political science. I wanted to like learn everything about politics. Turns out once I studied everything, I wanted nothing to do with it. And I just wanted to move to the mountains and escape anything like that. But in the meantime, so I'm in college and I'm just riding, like Boulder's really hilly. And so I'm just riding skateboard or mountain board almost every day, whether to get to class or to get to work or just cruise around. And there's a lot of people and cars. And so I was learning to ride like a board around in like a kind of a busy city, you know? So yeah, and I think a lot of that like really gave me a lot of confidence. Doing like a 12 stair, I would just go out and do like 12 stairs on my own and stuff, just big gaps. And that was awesome. And but then 2007 is the year of Roadkill Superstars. And that was a trip where we went to Vegas. Justin Dirt
Star Army, was it?
Well, it was like 1-5 Media,
right,
and Dirt Star. So there's kind of like 1-5 crew and Dirt Star Army. 1-5 was Colorado, Dirt Star was Salt Lake, and so we kind of had this like rivalry, basically, because there's no other rivalry. You got like dirt heads and hillbilly, right?
Yeah.
And so it's stupid, right? It's just like, oh, let's like find some beef. Let's like make some beef or something. And I don't even know where. It doesn't take much, right? It's like such a small sport. It's like one little thing, and it's like, oh, that crew, our crew, or I don't know. But anyways, that was when the first time I met Mason Moore. You know, Mason's like 15, dude, and just super clean style. I mean, his nickname at the time might still be is the Future, Mason the Future Moore. So that, you know, this dude is like, we're all kind of like 1920, and then he's like coming up. So we're like, man, we gotta like, can't let this kid like show us up, you know, like we gotta, like we've been doing this.
We're
like,
the ones that cast the shadows around here.
Yeah, exactly, dude. But Mason's so clean, his clean style. I mean, you know, just unreal. Like from the get-go, that guy was just clean, just straight clean. And but yeah, I went out to Vegas, and the big thing was Justin Dersham and Mike Erbner were basically the two guys behind 1-5 Media, and they were finishing up art school at the time. And the big project, their final project, was this Mountainboard film, which became Shopdown.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2007, we're filming. HD videos came out for the first time, like HD video, HD cameras, affordable technology, 720p, right? And so yeah, I'm living in Boulder. Bijo's in Fort Collins, which is about 45 minutes away. Evan just moved from the East Coast to Boulder, and then so one day he and Devin Fritz, find this place called the Butte, and they start digging it. And so that was like in spring, right, in April. And then that whole summer we were just out there every weekend. We'd all gather, dig, ride, film. We're all 19, 20, 21, 23 years old. The world is ours, right? It's like it was cool. And I think I wasn't like as mature in the way of like these other guys, as like they knew how video parts worked. They knew like how like the game, right, of like stacking clips. And I didn't really understand that. And so I think like I was just trying to be myself, right? I was like, well, whatever. If you can't handle it, then whatever. But it's about style, and it's about making it look good. And Dersham was really critical of what it took to be in the film, Yeah. And I think that's what we need, man. We need like that really hard critical eye in the films to because it erodes like the level of everything.
Yeah. I mean, the I don't know what the correct terminology would be. The cinematography, the production values of
excellent,
that were particularly high for the time.
And
compared to what else was around.
Yeah, and like you got AJ and Baron Frierson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Baron the Touch Frierson, that guy, just unreal. He just his ability to just the light touch with it, man. Yeah, Baron, AJ is just going off at that time. I mean, that I can't say enough about that year. It was just an incredible time to be growing up. We're all just young, and we knew that we just wanted to change, like all this down and dirty, everything was all about crashing, and we just wanted to make it more fun so that all our friends who snowboard and skate would join,
Yeah.
And then we got like the 2008, that was Mustache Tour of Destruction that you'll see in like Hot Action.
Yeah.
That was just dozen of us in a van going down to New Mexico. Incredible cliff jumps, getting towed in on like an ATV, doing some cliff drops. I don't know if there's much footy of that, but yeah, man,
probably on Vimeo. Like you say, Vimeo is a little hive of videos, if
certainly
how it.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a weird platform, but
yeah, man,
it's there's quite a lot still on there.
Yeah, that was the place. Like before everyone was kind of jumping on YouTube, it was kind of like artistic videos were on Vimeo. Yeah,
we went a serious production unless it's on Vimeo.
Right. Man. And then I guess where are we going from there? And then there's like the altitude sickness stuff where you got like Dave Kennedy, Phil Sheeter. Mm-hmm. They really put it out there, building jumps and stuff. But at that time, I kind of just like wanted to just be like a free rider. As kind of like, I was like, I don't know about this jumping stuff. Like I want to go explore more free riding. And Chris Grizz Adams was kind of on that boat too, where we just wanted to go find. We kind of just said like, F it to the contest stuff, And I think everybody at that time, it was like, well, why do we want to do contests when like the fun is just to go free ride and stuff?
Yeah.
And so I think that contest scene kind of faded because a lot of us that maybe should have been trying to like excel at that didn't really care about the contest. It was like, I'm gonna go pay $50 to like lose to Leon. Like what's the dude? Like, what's the point? You know? So which is kind of unfortunate because I think a lot of kind of lost the scene then. But
yeah,
you know,
the good thing about competitions, well, certainly in the UK, being such a small place, is that it is a very good reason for everybody to join up as a community and have fun together, regardless of results. But you're 100% right that everybody, it's the free ride that people are that people enjoy. But there's no glory in a free riding.
No,
which is why that Velvet Elvis behind you is such an appealing prize.
Yeah,
because
free ride is best ride. We've been saying that for a while, Dan.
Yeah.
It's all different, you can go make some turns and then you got, Brindy and Roxas jumping over flames, doing double backflips. I mean, I think it's all cool, I think it's all cool. Yeah. There's space for all of it, right?
Of course. Yeah. Of course. But I suppose the point being is that even the people who are jumping over the rockets and the fireworks also like to go free riding, where some other riders might find doing double backflip 1-footers a little bit intimidating, even on an airbag, let alone on
just a little bit
50,000 people and Pastrana screaming down the microphone.
Dude, I don't know how those guys under that pressure. I think that's so cool. Like, I could never do that. But yeah, so around that time, it's like Nikki and Dylan come over. They came to the US a few times, and we got Dylan out to Moab in 2011, I think, October. Got Dylan out there for the first time. But watching Nikki and Dylan ride, they like blew everybody away because they're just so easy with it, and their attitudes, just like everybody else is like pretty serious about competition or like getting hurt, and these guys were just like having so much fun with it, and like Nikki's like the most unassuming dude who like he'll just be hanging out talking. Oh, you gonna ride? Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. He'll be like in shorts, no helmet, and then he'll just like, I don't know, do a cork 7 or something, just like whip it out, like
you're a lovely lad, isn't he?
Dude, like anybody who can just like roll up to a spot and just like perform, like those are like my real heroes. Like I'm the dude who has to like, I got to spend days like on a line before I'll get it, or like I've been to Moab so many times to like, I mean, I've been out there like 25 times or something. I counted the other day, and like, dude, like anybody who can just roll up to a contest and perform. I mean, especially watching Dylan out in Moab. Dylan just shows up, dude, just clip, and we're out, so.
It's all down to that ride time. Dylan gets, no doubt, makes time to ride. I imagine every day.
Right now. Yeah. It shows, man. And he's like, he hits everything. He rides everything, which I think is awesome. Yeah. He's riding like every sort of feature,
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So it was like Moab was then, and then 2012, I moved from Denver out of the city. I was living with Bijo. I moved to like the Aspen area, Basalt, and he moved to Crested Butte, which is kind of where I am now in Gunnison. And so that's about 10 years ago. And so I just wanted to move into the mountains, learn how to snowboard, like full on. I need to I knew how to snowboard, but I didn't I didn't snowboard every day. And so between 2013 and 16, I was snowboarding all the time. If I wasn't snowboarding, I was playing music or working, and that was it. Play a little like in like a bluegrass band, little guitar harmonica.
Nice.
My daughter loves the harmonica, man. So yeah. But got in the mountains. And just what's cool about like the Aspen's probably the best mountains in Colorado, like Aspen Highlands, Snowmass Village. None of my friends, all my friends kind of just like drank a lot and played a lot of music. So they weren't up early. And so I was just on my own in the mountains. And so that's when I was just like basically on my own snowboarding every day, doing like gnarly lines and just learning the ways, like really getting into it. And so that's when I really got to tap into like what I like about free riding was then, so and then it was like going out to Moab. I was about 3 hours away then, and so I would go out there on my own and just because it was such this place, it's always like captivated me. And it was like, oh, we need to do a session. I was like, man, I'm 3 hours away. I'm just going to go out there on my weekend and go out there. I'd like trail run around, just run around without a board, scouting stuff. Just trying to just like sitting down, just like looking at lines, trying to like figure it all out, like love that, just really getting into it. And I would do a lot of backpacking solo in the desert, without a mountain board. Like I just love being out in that Southeast Utah is just an incredible place. So I mainly have a love for the desert. And then it's like, okay, well, what's the best way to experience the desert? You could rock climb. That's pretty cool. You can trail run. That's pretty cool. But then mountain boarding, well, that's the coolest thing. So, yeah. And then 2014, Diego and Pierre-Louis Nadar, Marcio Gomez all came to Moab, and Diego's girl. They all came to Moab, and we did some sick free riding then. Me, B, Joe, Grizz, and Jay. And then it's kind of been a lot of it's kind of just Moab for me. I mean, Moab and Rampart are kind of like my two spots. Oh, I guess around that time, me and Bijo we're riding like big mountains in Colorado. So like 12,000 foot peaks, where it's all tundra, like above tree line.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys have caught any of those kind of clips or videos we put out over the years, but I mean, that's the most amazing.
You're gonna have to throw us some links after.
I will. Yeah, I will. Cause there's some good stuff out there, but dude, we hauled some boards up like, from like, 9,000 up to 12,000 feet, camping out and just riding open tundra where it's all just grass and you can just point it and you're going fast too. And so you really it's kind of like a snowboard going down a steep mountain where you really have a lot of force behind you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of some of those descents, because we were able to just like ride some like real mountains. But dude, it's so hard, it's so heavy carrying those boards up a mountain. It's so heavy, dude. You're so like gassed at the top of
you wait till you strap a battery on it as well and try and carry one of them up when the terrain gets too tough.
No doubt. Yeah.
Should we go? You mentioned we've mentioned BJ a couple of times now.
Yeah.
Should we give you his question here?
Let's do it. Yeah.
A natural time to pop it in there. So thank you, BJ, for taking time out to give us these. He's got 3 questions here, and the 3 of them are as follows. Who influenced your riding the most?
That's it?
No, we can do all.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's cool. No, let's go. We can do one at a time. That's cool. I thought, man, that's a powerful question,
isn't it?
That's a powerful question.
They're good open enders, I gotta say.
I would say, dude, the minute that I put on heel straps in 2007, I felt like Tom Kirkman. Right? I felt like, okay, this is how you feel. It's like you don't. There's no question. Like you're on it, you're gonna perform. Like, this isn't like, I hope I make it. It's like, no, you're locked in. So you either make it or you don't, you know. I think before that it was just kind of sloppier, but like when I was like fully locked in, I felt like I had to control. I was like, oh, this is what Tom Kirkman feels like. Like, he's got control. And so I'm a big heel strap fan, but I also was riding. I'd also put the straps up and go skate around town. So for me, it's always been boat, you know. Like, I don't see it any debate with heel straps because I put them on, I lift them up. It's never been a problem.
Yeah.
The only time it was a problem, this is pretty good, was 2008. We had this downhill at Snowmass, and it was like the first ever like downhill race. And so I'm like, yeah, dude, this is like my jam. Like, finally, like, Benton gets to, like, you know, show him what he's made of, you know. And because I wasn't really racing that well, or like freestyle. And so we had this downhill contest, but the problem was I didn't know, I wasn't there the day before when they scouted it out. And so it was just like, okay, here's the course. And we're on top of this like gnarly slope, like rocks, bushes, just raw Colorado slope. And I was like, I don't know where to go. So I guess I'll just follow Leon and Aconi or whoever, right? Like, pretty safe, follow those guys. Maybe I'll like place pretty high. I don't know. You know, I didn't expect to like pass him. So I'm behind Leon for about 5 seconds. And then I'm leading the pack down this whole slope. And we're flying through like giant boulders. I mean, just tagging bushes, somehow not going over the handlebars. Just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm way ahead of everybody. And I'm like, I can't believe it. I'm like, this is sick. And you get down to the road and it's flat. And then you kind of have to like skate a little bit. And then it's like the finish line is like, I don't know, like a quarter mile away. And I get down and I'd never dealt with the heel straps. Like, I wasn't good at taking them off. So I was just jumping around all frustrated. Like, what the fuck? What do I do? And so I finally got him off. And then like Cody just flies past me, just, you know, but I had like a minute or so of just like standing there, like, I don't know what to do. And so after that, I was practicing. I was like taking them on, taking them off. So yeah, but I'll never forget just thinking I had it. And then like, oh, fuck this. And then it was like, well, I'm not gonna win. So whatever. Like, I won. I was like, I won the downhill part. That's all that matters. So yeah. that's how I thought about it. So, but
did you get second though? Did you?
No, I don't even know, dude. I just like gave up. I don't know.
You fucked it.
I got like fifth or something. But style. Okay, so TK, dude, always TK, because even like his free riding, he just knew how to put the board down, you know. But then I would say lately it's been more and then Leon kind of, and Sayre, those dudes were influencing early. But then and Jay, always Jay, but then these days it's definitely Jay, of like just turning, because it's like Jay will just, the art of a turn, of a left or a right turn, Jay just will find those lines that like Jay still does lines where everybody's jaw drops every time he goes out. Everyone's like, wow, like, how did he do that? He just finds something, makes it look good. So
nice.
Yeah. Jay, for sure.
So like I said, he's got 3. I'm going to save one of them to a little bit later on in the thing, because it, like I say, it's quite an open-ended one. But so we'll say his next one is, do you identify as a mountain board athlete or an artist?
Man, that's...
I assume he's put you in quite a predicament here.
Yeah,
does he know the answer to this? Is he?
Because to me, it's like the athlete artist. It's like the artist is athlete, the athlete is artist. I mean, it goes both, because you got to be fit to do this stuff, and especially, you know, it's like you have to hike to mountain board, right?
Yeah.
But if you run, instead of hiking, then you get to see more, you get more runs. So like when I'm out in Moab now, I try to run as much as possible when I'm not on the board. I try to just keep it quick, scouting out stuff. Like when I was with Jay, it was like, okay, is this good? Is this good? Let's keep moving. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, here's a line. Let's go get it. Okay, keep moving, you know? Because if you're fit, you get a richer experience, I guess, you know? And like riding at Valmont. Yeah, riding at Valmont for years. When I lived in Boulder, it was like the more you hike, the faster you hike, the more runs you're going to get, the better you're going to get, the more, you know? So it's just like that consistency and discipline. I don't know. I think you got to be in shape, but at the end of the day, you can be totally out of shape and just be a good artist and show everybody what's up. So I don't think you have to be an athlete, but I would say these days I'm definitely trying to be like, I hate that word artist, but yeah, I think between, like with Mapleton, I've really tried to make it like kind of artistic, mysterious, kind of like Western-esque, like, I don't know, just fun for me, of just kind of celebrating like Western, like cowboy style. I don't know. I love all that, like Western movies. I love all that stuff. So, but I think as far as Moab goes, it's like, you know, the terrain, the light, the riding. Yeah, it's got to be like artistic to just make it look, trying to be artistic as much as possible, you know, but, yeah, it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy putting it all together.
The thing with Moab as well, it's not only amazing riding, it fucking the whole scenery, the whole place looks amazing as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, where else do you have all the background views of that is, and to me, that's all part of the whole experience. Like for me going to Moab, it's like sleeping in the dirt, having a fire, you know, chatting with your mates, right? Telling old stories and, you know, waking up before the sun rises to get out there. Because here's the thing is like when the sun comes up at like the first dawn, like that's when you can see the best lines because it's all lit up. And so like everything comes alive then. And then, you know, noontime comes, it's flat. It's not as easy to see it, but when you can really read the waves, man, I mean, that's what it's all about. So
nice.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it.
It's nice to have someone that's passionate about the area that they live in. I mean, why wouldn't you be in where you live? But it's nice to see. It's nice to see. We touched on, you mentioned Mapleton there for the first time so far here. Is it too early to start talking about that on your timeline yet? I'm assuming we are, but surely there must have been the inkling.
No. Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect. So, 2015, I met my wife, and the next year, she randomly asked me one day. She's like, "Hey, you know, if you could be anywhere in the world on your birthday, where would you be?" And for some reason, I was just all I could think of was like Vermont, to go mountain boarding up there. You know, like I said, the grassy Northeast.
Yeah.
And she bought me a plane ticket to go see Evan for a week. And so I go hang out with Evan for a week in August. And I hadn't really been riding. You know, I was kind of, you know, just, you know, new relationship, not really thinking mountain boarding as much, you know, thinking maybe I was kind of washed up, you know. And I went out there for a week with Evan. We met up with Jeremy Leaf at one point. And I just got the bug again, dude. So like I got back to the airport, my board was in my car. I drove straight to Valmont. And I was like, I don't care what people think. I don't care what I think. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Cause it's a pretty like popular place, Valmont. Like there's a lot of mountain bikers. You're kind of on display. And so that's kind of nerve wracking as a mountain boarder, but I was like, I don't care. I'm getting out there. And I just started riding every day again. I would just go out to Valmont constantly. So like that whole like next year or two, I was about 10 minutes from Valmont where I lived in Boulder, where my wife was. And yeah, I would just ride Valmont every day. Just boom, get the line down. If it was like windy, I'd like try like riding switch or like try different features, smaller features. If it was like snowing, I'd still go out there. Dude, it didn't matter. I was just like, I'm out here. I'm trying to get better. And so, the thing is, like, when you're riding on your own, like, I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm just going to ride because there's all these mountain bikers and they're all like hanging out talking. And I would just keep lapping and hiking. But then the minute there's other mountain boarders there, I'm just like chatting, like, oh, remember this, and like hardly getting any laps, you know. But when it was just me and mountain bikers, I felt like you just have so much to prove, or like you got to show them, like, yeah, no, this is how you do it, and like, because everybody is waiting for you to eat it. Everybody's just waiting to be like, told you so, told you those things were sketchy, you know.
This is exactly how I feel summer months. I'm the only rider down the local track there.
Yeah,
all bikers, and you can feel them burning, the eyes burning, waiting for like, is anyone recording this? Because this guy is going to eat shit for sure.
Yeah,
run
right. It's like they're just, man, there's such, yeah, mountain biking, dude. Anytime I get on a mountain bike now, it's like, it's so on. Like those things are just like, you have so much control. I think like every mountain boarder, if you're on a mountain bike, is just gonna tear it up, because it's literally so easy, man. Like you have so much control. You can go anywhere. So to me, a mountain bike's like a vacation. Like if I'm like, I can't wait to like just take a vacation and like just ride like a mountain bike up a lift, like a ski lift, for like a week or something. That'd be fun. When I'm older, I don't need to like worry about crashing. I don't know. Worry about my knees. I forgot what the question was.
Well, we'd started to venture on to talking about Mapleton.
Yeah. Oh, right. So I'm riding Valmont every day, right? I'm like, and Cody had come out with Collab, and so shout to him for. I mean, that was huge when Cody came out with a board. It was and it ripped too, you know. It was like he showed that it could be done. So I was like, okay, well then I want to make a board, and I don't care. It doesn't have to be the best. It doesn't have to be. I just wanted something different.
Yeah.
Like, and I just started pressing up decks, and dude, the first one, I like set it in the press like offset, like it wasn't equal, and so it came out with this huge tail, and I just like it cracked me up. I was just like, dude, that's it. Like that's it. Just like so different. Just like, I don't know. I just thought it was so rad to just have this like goofy piece of wood that was just looked different from everything else, because every other board looked the same at that point. And so I was like, man, it's just cool doing something different. I felt like I like just dipped into a whole new country or something, you know.
You certainly had quite a few different shapes of the nose and tail over the years.
Yeah, so I ran with that, and I had the ones with like hinges on them.
Yeah,
if you saw that one, and then there's just super long one. Like those are pretty ridiculous, but so fun to just like, I can't believe me and Bijo hiked those things out like 2 miles out.
I was going to say that's the thing. I mean, in your little reel there, I mean, I hope you or Bijo didn't mind. Bijo doing that stall on.
Oh yeah,
like that. See, that verges then that's changed from an aesthetic to an actual utilizable piece of equipment, albeit a little bit, you know, not people aren't used to seeing that. But like you say, it becomes a usable bit of equipment.
Dude, it just sparked me up of like, it just renewed all my love for mountain boarding. It just was like off the bat, like, oh, awesome. This is cool. You know, it's like, we're just creating something different, a whole new area, you know? Because I think it was like, you know, MBS at that time, they just had their limit over like, you know, their certain budget, what they're trying to do. And so I just knew I had to kind of go outside of that. And dude, and I just started making decks, dude, just wood and wood glue. And they worked. And I couldn't believe it. And a few of them, I mean, I probably made like 20 or so at this point. So not a ton, but a lot of them just shattered right away. And then the last one I had lasted 3 years. I couldn't believe it. And then it broke the night before we went to Moab in August, when Joel and Dylan and Jay showed up. We're sessioning our local track up in Crested Butte. And dude, it just shattered. Like I was just devastated, because like you guys have talked about it before, but it's like your deck is your deck. You know, with Brandon Good, he was saying how like he jumped on somebody else's board and it's just different, right? And so I had this newer board. It wasn't broken in. So yeah, and like the stance, I drilled the stance too narrow. I drilled it out like we're out in Moab and like nighttime. You know, I just like brought my drill and drilled it out. It was a little too narrow. So I didn't really, it wasn't, I don't think I performed as quite as well as I'd like to have out there. But just goes to show you got to have some backup decks. But it also made me think, and I kind of talked with Dylan about this, you know, because Dylan and I had a lot of time in the car out there. And I was just like fuming about how bummed I was. And I was like, you know, but what's the question? You know, how long should a mountain board break? Skate decks break, snowboards, dude, snowboards are just absolute crap, some of them, you know, and like guys are doing rail slides and just like splitting the deck, you know. So it kind of begs the question, how solid should a mountain board be? And I've come to the conclusion, like, it shouldn't break. It should last 20 years. It should be like a razor. It shouldn't, you should be able to give it to your kid, like the next generation. You should be able to ride it, and maybe it breaks it up, a little structural integrity or something, but like they shouldn't shatter, because that's dangerous, really, for one. And then the other hand, you know, you're out of luck. You're out in the middle of nowhere with this like piece of wood and some trucks and bindings. It's like, well, what am I going to do? You know?
Yeah.
So
walk it home.
And so that right there is kind of what's kept me from going further with Mapleton, or I guess going, you know, still going. We're moving ahead, but not moving that quickly, is because the quality has to be perfect. Yeah. Like I can't put out a deck and then someone shatters it on a big jump.
Well, I mean, that brings us a little bit here onto a question from Seb Cox.
Okay, yeah.
And he says, he imagines it's already been asked. It hasn't yet, Seb, but it was just about to be talked about, I think. Are you planning, or have you ever thought about putting any Mapleton decks into production for sale? Because they look freaking sick, apparently.
I mean, dude, for sure. I mean, that's like the goal, you know. I would love to just have that be my life, full-time job, you know. I mean, that'd be the dream, right? And so when I started it all, I was like, okay, like, boom, here it is. Like, I was always writing out numbers and like profit margins of like, how many do I have to get to like, you know, make it like a full-time gig? And it was always like a lot, you know, or you got to charge a lot for each deck. Yeah. And so, the real big thing is like, there wasn't a market. I would say at this point in time, there's finally kind of a market for that. But I would say over the last 5 years, you know, I wanted to sell them. And then I was like, well, there's no industry. There's like, you know, same 10 dudes I see online riding. And so that's when I started. So we'd started Mountain Sticks. So Mountain Sticks was actually Evan and Brandon and I. It's really the three of us. I would say right now I'm kind of taking the helm, but those dudes really started it. I think they spent more time at the beginning, promoting it. And then, so I wanted to start. So then I started Mountainboard Archives based on, it was a thing that Pat McConnell had started. But I thought, you know, I really need to like educate people about like how things were, because all the content I was seeing was just like some dude with a brake board going down a hill. And it's like, that's cool. But it's like, I'm just watching beginners. Like I want to watch people who stoke me up, you know? Yeah. Like the Emlins and the Amons of the world, you know, Dylans, and there's just not enough of those. So, I focused on Mountainboard Archives to kind of dip back, kind of present like all the old stuff to the new school. And so I'm really proud of a lot of that content, and it's really hard to keep going. I mean, it really drained me, but I'd like to maybe come back to it, but the Mountainboard archives page, man, I think I dug deep. I trolled a lot of people's Facebook profiles to get that stuff. I mean,
I do that.
Yeah,
I know what you say, but
it's all out there.
It is it does get a little exhausting at times, because it takes time. You think people might sit there and play Candy Crush or whatever for half an hour and do that, but you try doing that, looking through someone's, profile when you're looking for a particular picture, and you're like, oh for goodness sake, it's like, you just know it's there somewhere. And if you're anything before 2007, you're in real hard. It's hard to find imagery and stuff before,
for sure,
2007.
For sure,
that's when sort of Facebook seemed to pick up a bit of pace.
Exactly. That's when it kind of started. That's when, all the kind of the record on Facebook, right? But the thing with that is like, there's not a whole lot of old photos, and there's not a whole lot of old photos that are actually well taken. And so basically, all the Mountainboard archives, it's like Jay Lee, Paul Taylor is basically like 90% of those photos, because those are the only two dudes who actually knew what they were doing, taking photos, and were present, and then also I would shout Bijo, as Bijo's an amazing photographer. I don't think he gives himself enough credit.
That shot that he took. I mean, this is going to run out of timeline to what's currently on social media. He put a shot up of the mountain. It was his local, peak or something. That's Mount Crested Butte. That's our local. That's our ski area. On the other side of that. Yeah. Incredible.
Dude, it's and so just being friends with that dude, he's a brother basically, and dude, watching him over the years just take photos, and you're like, dude, like, you're really good at this, but he doesn't like doing stuff for, like, he doesn't like the pressure. It's got to be fun, it's got to be fun for him. Nice. So
so we mentioned Mountainboard stacks and archives there. And it brings us nicely to a question from Matt Brind. We've only got two questions left. We've got Matt Brind's question and Emily's question. And Matt Brind asks, as a purveyor of fine antique mountainboard media, which rider from the past would you get back on a board if you could? And which spot from the past would you bring back for one more session if you could?
That's good question, Matt Brind.
I hate to say it. He's really good at the questions. Is there anything he's not that good at? Unfortunately, not.
Yeah.
And he's one of those, a really nice guy, I suppose.
Yeah, one of those brilliant minds, right?
Yeah.
He just needs to land on dirt other than an airbag. I think that was like a thing. Like when he first got the airbag, it was like this thing where, like, oh, sick tricks, but they don't count. I think I said something like that on the archives or something.
It's definitely stuck. Definitely stuck.
Yeah. But it's sick what he's been doing. Like the 1 foot double backflip, right? And getting looser. He's getting looser with his spins and everything. No, it's cool. It's cool seeing. Yeah. He's one of the heroes, man. One of the heroes up there. So, man, that's a good question. Rider from the past. I mean, I don't know. I think Leon still rides, but dude, if I think Leon could get back in the scene and just tear it up. I would have a hard time not believing that.
As long as he remembers to check his egg shocks. If he does that, make sure they're all in good condition, he'll be all right.
What do you mean? Like loosen him up?
Yeah, I think he stepped on a board recently and encountered a bit of speed wobble because his egg shocks had perished inside because he'd left it, in the shed for 6, however many X amount of years, and went down a pretty big incline, and didn't bode well for him, shall we say? But look, there's no doubt in my mind. You put him back on a board that is in good condition, and he is still going to be within the session. It'll be just as good, I guarantee.
Yeah, and that's assuming Tom Kirkman isn't available. Or I mean, I still think Tom Kirkman's like gonna come back. I think he's just taking this still on a break. Like I don't think he's done. I think he's just waiting for the rest of us to catch up.
Hasn't Brindy and Mason done enough yet? We're almost on to triple flips. Almost. We're on double backflip
one. Man, but like I said, closing that gap, dude. Kirkman. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's not just tricks. It's like overall comfort on a board. Like nobody has looked comfortable as Kirkman.
Yeah,
like he looked comfortable way more times than he looked sketchy. I can't even think of times when he looked sketchy, and then bringing back a spot, man. Like the bowl was like pretty cool. It'd be cool to ride the bowl because that was like our childhood spot, which was actually like a sick jump. Like, I mean, just world-class like spot. But if I could bring any spot back, it'd be the Valley in Colorado Springs, which it was like just big features, drops and step ups. And it's a lot of that in Down and Dirty 1, a lot of those shots. I think there's like a Colorado Springs section, and it's all that's the Valley, a lot of the dirt jumps. Where like Dave Sansoni and Jay and Joel is jumping that car, doing like a indie over it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just tucking. I don't know. He's just olling and tucking. But and then the Valley. So the Valley, it was like these the pack jumps where you get in the line and you got to hit the next one,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was like such a huge level as a kid to be like commit to that line and like get all the jumps and make all the gaps. And so that was just like the first like classic spot where that's like where the pros went. And if you could ride the Valley, well, then you were on par with the pros. So yeah, man, it'd be fun to go back to those days.
I suppose we might as well, while we're on the roll here, do Emily's question, and then I can rest easy that I've covered everyone. Then
great.
And here's I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna say it as it's read.
What's as it's written?
Yeah. Well, he's confused. It's a bit confusing. What's the fastest you've ever been going on a mountain board? What's the fastest anyone's been going on a mountain board? What's the fastest it's possible to go on a mountain board, and where would it take place?
Man,
he's off his head, the kid. He's off his head.
Okay. Okay. No, that's interesting. Coming from Emily.
Is it Linden?
It could be Lindenville. Lindenville Outing Club in that clip. It might be then. That's definitely a good pick, but it could be Little Alaska. You're basically just pointing it and flying down a thing, so you're accelerating really fast. But what comes to mind, and actually I was gonna bring this up earlier, but back in 2002, 2003, like Pat McConnell, I don't know if people really know how much Pat McConnell used to ride and how good of a free rider Pat McConnell. I mean, we know those old videos of San Francisco and everything, but he would ride the balloon board at high drive, and he would like go up the walls, like the gravel walls, and come down. Like you'd just be stopped for him and he'd like go around you, just like he's on a snowboard. I mean, drop knee, like, yeah, dude, like Pat McConnell. So for me off the bat, it was like Jay Lee, Pat McConnell, and Joel. I mean, they each had different styles. Mm-hmm. And so one time we're up on high drive. It's just me, Pat McConnell, my dad, and my buddy Mike Slattery. and we had the MBS van, and we were just going to shuttle. I think we had like a car at the bottom, car at the top, and it had just rained, which is like perfect because like the road is like tacky. It's not really not like the ball bearings gravel. It's just really tacky, and you can just like grip on it. And I had my razor setup at the time was what we had is called speed washers, where you put washers on the ends of the top hats to compress everything. So it's just like just rock hard, right? It's funny because I started out carving, and then everyone went rock hard, just point it, and then now I'm like carver again. But that was the time when it was like just straight speed, like who can go fast. And on high drive, if you wanted to win the race, it was all about power sliding the least and just pointing it and holding on. And like, dude, there's like off camber turns where you're just flying out of the bindings, you know, and like these are all free flex bindings. These aren't, there's no heel straps, there's no F3s. This is old school. But my dad said he clocked us at 35.
Nice.
Yeah. And that was like, okay, don't need to do that again.
Yeah.
Like
it feels
I know what that feels like, and dude, it's scary. I mean, it's yeah, after that. And then dude, and honestly, this other time when I was in Boulder, I would just go straight down like the streets. I would just like find a big street and just go straight down it as fast as I could, you know? And it was at nighttime, and there's a stop sign at the bottom of this hill, and I just flew by it, and this car comes up like up the road, and it was about maybe a foot away from just clipping me in the knees. Like I should have just been clipped in the knees and like just run over this car. I should have been so messed up, but luckily I had the time to be like, do I go in front or do I go behind it? And I decided to go in front of it. And ever since that day, that was like 2006, I stopped going fast up until that clip in Lyndonville. Yeah. But yeah, dude, speed. Yeah. After that, it was like, after that, I went straight into like carving. So that same street, next time I would just go sidewalk to sidewalk.
Yeah.
And like just carve, slow down, carve, slow down. And so from then on, it was all about control and like staying in control. So yeah, that's the game now. How fast is it possible? Yeah, dude, I bet you can go, 100 miles an hour. I don't know. It's probably designed. I bet Joel Lee has designed them to go, that fast.
I saw a mountain bike being towed up to 273 kilometers an hour.
Yeah. I think I saw something like that, dude.
Behind a motorbike.
Dude, I just think that's crazy. But they have this place outside of Salt Lake. It's called the Salt Flats, the Great Salt Flats.
Yeah.
And that's where you guys have probably seen that. That's where they always test out like land speed records. Exactly. So yeah, like, dude, Trampa should sponsor a, what's the world record electric mountain board
I don't know.
record,
I think
that's
there is
no one's going after that.
There is a production board, apparently, electric skateboard, that does a 60 mile an hour now, apparently, which is rapid. I mean, like my one there will do, I think it'll do about early 30s, maybe 34 top end. And that I never once do I just go, have I just gone, right, I'm going out for a ride, just hold it on that limiter. No way. It's just fucking warp speed everywhere.
It really is crazy. I mean, it really is crazy.
But like, you will, you comfortably fly around on those around 30. But maybe it's a subconscious thing, like the end of the throw of the trigger always, worried about.
Well, you're in like charge of that speed too. It's not like you're like get up to it and have to hold it or whatever, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, I've only been on a Trampa. I think it was like last spring. I tried out one of the dudes. We had a gathering at Valmont, or maybe it was like Colorado 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried somebody's Trampa, and dude, it is wild. Like the torque on those things, it's just the kicks. But man, like I can see why they're fun. I get it. Like I get it. It's cool.
Could something like those be utilized in the likes of Moab and Grand Junction? Would they be a viable choice of weapon for those terrains?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, as we get lighter, I think with electric boards, you got to think about them like in 5 years from now, or 10 years, everything's lighter, everything will be better, But I think the idea, like Moab itself, is a really big tourist, like off-road, like it's a big jeeping destination, it's a big mountain bike destination, and like side by sides. So I think somebody will put together like a tour where you take out a family on some mountain boards. You got a trail that goes through Slick Rock area, which
like
is
a Segway tour, but standing sideways.
Exactly, dude. And make them lunch or whatever. I thought about that. I was like, man, that'd be, because I thought about all the different ways to make a career out of mountain boarding, and there's not many. You got to do stuff like that. You got to
the dirt has we monetized the dirt back right at the start, and we've now made a grand total of $3.50 something.
Hey, dude, I heard it was like 60 cents or something.
So yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you gonna hold on to it? You're gonna
I'm not allowed to claim it until I reach $10.
and then we're gonna fucking party.
Well, only if we can find somewhere that accepts American dollars.
Right. Dude, honestly, you guys should figure out a way to like take the show on the road and like tour, like do a world tour. Maybe it's a different place every year, but maybe it's like a different place every year, and you can maybe write it off or like find some sponsors. We can hype you guys up, get you out to Moab. We got to get you guys out to Moab. I mean,
that has got.
Before I die,
yeah,
I need to go to Moab.
Let's make some dreams come true. Let's make some dreams come true.
I would agree.
Just rally. We can rally together, man.
Well, Jason said, what did he say? 25.5 or 5.25, 25?
Yeah, 5.25, 25.
Yeah, a date
it's going down, dude. Yeah. It's official.
That could happen.
We're gonna.
And you mentioned we should take this on the road. I think we might well do. I think we might do that this summer, actually, in the Eurozone at least. I don't think it's too much for a spoiler to say that we're off to the World Champs this summer in France, and we're taking the party bus. We've got a motorhome, so hopefully we'll be doing a few Steve-O style interviews from the wagon.
Dude, that's the way to travel, man. Like motorhome, RV.
That's the way.
Yeah. Like I love, I'll sleep in the back of the truck or like have tents or just cowboy it. But honestly, RVs sound pretty nice, especially having a baby now. It's like, dude, you got to have an RV.
Yeah. You need to keep the wife and the kids sweet.
Yeah. I got to figure that out. So
that's it. Exactly. I want them to come on the adventures with me. So when I'm not doing the mountain board adventures, we can go off and enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think, to do an American RV trip, that would be amazing. We could stop in at a few different places, come and see you guys, come see Mason and the Lee. Well, I won't see Lee, but Pat and Jason, and do a bit of.
I think there's definitely there's almost like a Silk Road now of mountain boarding, where it's like between Denver and Salt Lake, you get it all. You get the whole Denver bike parks and everything, and then on 6 hours away is Moab, and then 3 hours from Moab is Salt Lake. So.
That's the one.
That's kind of what Dan Dworkin and Plunger from Hawaii, they came out. That was kind of their tour. Mm-hmm. And then when Joel and Dylan, that was kind of their road too. So, it'd be cool to make it out to the Northeast. and ride that stuff too. But if you're only going to come to one place in the US, definitely, Colorado, Utah is probably a good choice because we'll take care of you.
Pencil it in, Dan. Pencil it in.
That could be the next version of Bottoms Up, the Bottoms Up film. I could do the Silk Road tour of Colorado.
We got it. What's a better? We got to hit Rubber or not the Rubber Road. Or the
Rubber Road.
four down road.
Dirt road. Dirty tracks or up the dirt track or something.
But
anyhow, so whereabouts are we? We've done the community questions there. Whereabouts are we on your timeline now?
I mean, I think
up to date, are we?
I think so. I think kind of the last few years just been focused on getting out to Moab as much as possible, testing out the decks, and dude, every time, like every deck has just been so fun, and finding new ways out there. Yeah,
I do hope that one day you do decide to share them with the outside world, because I, as well as Seb, would certainly love one in my quiver.
Well, that's thank you for saying that. That's awesome to hear, and I hope to. I just kind of got to get the design dialed in. I got to find like a better workshop space, and we'll see what 2023 holds here.
Indeed. Talking of the future, I almost forgot it there. And I believe it was Evan Carlson, or was it Bijo? The last question that we didn't ask earlier. No, it was Bijo. And his last question, as we've gone through your timeline and brought us up to modern day, is what do you feel the current state of mountain boarding is in the US?
The current state in the US. Well, all the best riders are in their 30s or 40s or 50s. So there's a lot of room for some young pups to come through and, be the best, just destroy it. Like, it'd be cool if there were some younger riders who were who really wanted to, like, I don't really understand it. Like when we were all 1920, we were hitting like huge jumps and like we were doing way gnarlier stuff than we are now. But I think everybody's just more dialed in now.
But then you said about things like that. Your first experience was like a local learn to ride where the MBS crew came and did that. I mean, obviously they as a company probably had more presence at the time and more of a budget to have more of a presence.
Right.
But would things like those sort of not high and rise, but those try and ride things around schools, do you think that re-encouraging, is there a way that we can re-encourage the youth to get off of their Switch or their iPhone?
Well, yeah. I mean, dude, that's the first step is just getting people outside, right? It's like like a scooter, skateboard, or whatever. Like, I think it's all cool. I think any activity, basketball, football, like whatever, like as long as people are getting outside, because I don't think any of us are getting outside and getting physical as much as we should be. Like we're all obviously looking at screens way more than we need to be. I'm just terrible at it, right? But that said, I think there is room for that. I think that's just so much. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to put yourself out there and go teach riders. I mean, I think everybody just has to do their thing, build up. I think maybe the better answer is like, just build up your community, like Dylan's done in Australia. He's not trying to change the world, but he's just kind of building up there.
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, dude, the amount of people he's exposed it to, and it's like still not, there's not some whiz kid I don't know. There's kids that are in it, but it's kind of like you can start kids off, but where are they going to go?
Yeah.
So for me, there's a roadmap. It was like these videos. It was like the Kirkman brothers, ATC. Dude, ATC Productions, like shout out to the Kirkmans for filming all that stuff. Because, dude, between Mick and Tom and Twy, dude, for a while before it was Mick and Tom, like Mick was still young. It was like Tom and Twy.
Yeah.
We're out there, no pads, steezy, making it look really good. And it's like that was just the time right then. Yeah. So I think it's like comes down to videos. I don't think there's no video presence. There's no video. Like all of us are so stoked that these videos are coming out from like 20 years ago because there's been nothing. I mean, you got the Shop Downs and going back to Vimeo, the stuff that Bijo and I put out on Vimeo. I've put out like a few edits there I'm fairly proud of, but just these kind of short ones, just having fun with them. But there hasn't been like a serious, it doesn't have to be serious, but just high quality videos showing it fun, you know? And so I think that's what's missing more than anything is like an annual film. And so my goal coming up right now is I want to put out, we got so much content from over the years that we're just sitting on like Bijo's hard drive. And so trying to put out like a Mountain Sticks kind of retro video. And then also trying to go out to Moab and just and make a new Moab film that's just Moab mountainboarding. Yeah. Because it hasn't been shown. I mean, as much as you guys have seen, or I mean, it just hasn't been shown. There's not
that I think that's part of the mystique for us.
Yeah.
Because for every shot that you shot that we've seen of it, you can see the background of more of that terrain going on for miles. And
dude,
to as far as the eye can see. That's why it is the way. I suppose that is why the magic, isn't it?
I think about it like it's Alaska. It's like Alaska for snowboarding.
Yeah.
Is hey, you think we could take a quick break?
Yeah.
I just just a few minutes.
Yeah. Cool.
I think baby stuff.
You crack on.
I got some baby stuff.
No drama,
cool, you guys.
We come back. We're close to finishing. Anyway, but you go. We're all cool. Go and come back.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be back in like 5. Okay.
No drama, man.
Right on, guys.
Right. I'm gonna take a piss.
Okay, you take a piss.
Dan.
What?
Can we go Moab?
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
You all right, man? I think Dan's on toilet. Everything cool?
Yeah. I mean, my we got this I got the baby, and then we got about a 1-year-old puppy who's sick right now and just pooping all over the house.
That's a joyful job.
Oh man, yeah. All over the carpet. So
what type of puppy? What dog is it?
She's like we call it like reservation dogs. Like she's from New Mexico, from an Indian reservation, and so she's like a kind of like a cattle dog she's total mutt.
Right,
but,
cool.
She's kind of like Australian Shepherd, kind of.
Oh yeah.
A golden retriever kind of mix. She just was pooping all over the house. So.
Are we sorted?
Oh, we're good for a bit. Yeah, we can finish up.
Did you get the wet wipes out?
Yeah, I mean, my wife is really she's trying to give me the time, and she kept I really needed to take a break. So.
Please pass our thanks on to your wife there.
I will.
Holding the wheel of the ship whilst you're dealing with us douchebags.
Yeah. No, it's good, man.
Worthy of note that I happened to notice during that little break there. 20th of May, Bugs Boarding Dream Teas and Jam event. Put it in your diary if you're listening.
Has that just come up now? Is it?
Just come up there this evening.
Sweet. I love those UK events. I think the one last year, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it's such a cool vibe. You guys had like 100 turnout or something.
Yeah, I don't know how many they had last year. I don't think we're quite 100, but I think we did at the champs, definitely.
Right? Something. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that was it.
But the Dream Teas and Jam event. I mean, it's an event. It's not really a competition because
it's a jam, isn't it?
Yeah. You just vote for your favourite rider in a zone. You know, like who's rocking it the best, and that could be somebody that's having a battle and has won a battle, or it could be a big trick, or it could, you know what I mean? It could be anything.
See, and that's fun. Yeah, that's like the fun. It's like a contest, but it's fun and it's a jam, and it's not like there is some glory, there's some awards, and some like, hey, who's better than the other? You got to have some competition. Yeah, but it's also like, hey, we're all hanging out. So,
but it's all peer led as well.
Yeah. I think you guys got a good thing going in the UK right now with Bugs and everything.
Yeah,
that's a dream, man. I would always wanted to go to Bugs. When I heard like Leon was doing like a residency there, hanging with like AJ Watkins, just like drinking Stella and building jumps every day. I was like, man, like that is the life, you know. So I always wanted to make it to Bugs, but and you guys want to come over here, man. I got to make it over there. That's always been the dream. Is the between like Winey, is that still going on? You know,
yeah, I believe Winey's still in operation.
Yeah, Winey and Bugs, those are the spots.
Well, if we come over in the summer, you could do the British champs, then bounce over to France to do the Worlds.
Okay, France too.
And to be fair, if you were to be going north from where the champs are in 23. This year now, isn't it? 1 year, I believe, is only a few hours north of Compiègne. Although being in Belgium, a different country, it's actually not that too far away.
Okay.
That's the end of community questions and that. And we've definitely covered Evan's last one there. I can't think personally of any more questions that I had off the top of my head, but I'm hoping that my dear friend Sloggs, as his 10 set.
Well, I did have a 10 set, and I'd had quite a personal 10 set that I'd actually thought about and put together. And the readers' questions just fucking literally wiped them out because we know who we're talking to. So it was very specific. But I've got a few left in on my notepad, but we'll go through.
Okay.
Right, reg or goof? It's always the first one I ask. It's the most interesting one for me.
Regular.
Regs. Right. Current setup, and I can see him behind there. So do you want to bring him forward so we can all have a little gander?
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. There's not much more. There's not much to see. It's like there's better photos. It's not the prettiest on the other side.
But
But that's the current setup. But go ahead.
Do you have a binding less setup as well? We talked about your heel straps and
that was this one. That was this one. And then I put bindings on it when my other one broke.
Right.
But I got to ride. I still haven't gone bindingless out in Moab, and that's kind of the next goal is to try to figure that out. But that's the current one.
Favorite Mountainboard film?
Ooh,
we'll go past and present on that to bulk up my list of questions.
Dude, Down and Dirty.
Number one,
yeah.
We've watched that many a time on repeat.
I mean, just that Grand Junction section, man. It's just it hasn't been. No one's done it like that since.
That does bring me on to an interesting question, or from me personally, anyway. A little while back, you posted an alternate line on Little Alaska. I think it was you. I'm sure it was you. Did you not overlay like you'd drawn on
Oh yeah,
an
yeah.
alternate.
Oh yeah. There's like a mountain behind Little Alaska. It's like
Right. So
3
did
times
you
the
ever
size, dude.
did you go back and did you
No,
get that line?
no. I mean, it's like I don't know how to do it. It's like
Right.
you get up there, you're like, I don't know. I really have no idea how to go down this line. So, but that's how Little Alaska is. It's like so steep where you're like, those dudes before, it was just like you go straight and then you slide. And then however you can elegantly do that. And those guys were able to do it well, but I don't think, I mean, I couldn't do it. I couldn't ride it like those guys did then, but yeah, just there's so much out there that's just yet to be ridden. I think it's a lot of like got to have the right wheels, like there's some balloon kind of wheels to take it to the next level. So yeah, it's just steep. It's steep dirt. Yeah.
Right. Although not much of a freestyler nowadays, but you have been in the past. Favorite trick that you can do?
Yeah. Back 180. Yeah. That's just, there's nothing like the feeling, right? There's nothing the feeling. And I wouldn't even say that I'm like great at them or anything, but yeah, most fun trick for sure. Yeah.
We talked about him earlier. Dave Sansoni always had a good back 180.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
One of the best in the game, still even to this day.
Yeah, dude. I'll never forget Jason Small, 2003 US Open Snowmass. Like he held a mute grab and then at the very last second did the 180. But I've never seen anybody do like a late 180 like that, like Small Dog. So shout to that guy. Rest in peace.
Favorite buddy to ride with? Who's your riding partner these days?
Man, these days, Bijo and I had a lot of years there, and but he's kind of focused more on like running. He's like a competitive trail runner now, and so he's kind of works more in that in the summertime.
What we're talking ultras?
Yeah. He's super fast at that, and I like running. I like mountain running, and I like doing like 24-hour like on the trail kind of stuff, but just not moving too fast. But he's like a fast, like long distance fast runner. Like he's getting up there. And so really these days it's Jay, I would say, that we just see kind of eye to eye, like on lines, and just getting out there in Moab with him. We're just like, dude, same level. Like let's find some gnarly stuff, and but it's cool because his lines, like we have different lines too, though. It's like yeah, I don't know, just different approaches. Like he can find like a mellow zone and just like find all the right turns and just make it look unreal, and I kind of like looking for more like jumps and step downs and kind of stuff. But yeah, I think Jay and I just on point with like free ride lines in Moab for sure.
Complimentary free riders.
Yeah totally. And I mean, and Joel, I don't really get to ride with Joel very often, but dude, Joel, like just like watching him on the new MBS stuff out in Moab, like blew me away. Yeah. Dude, that dude's smoother than ever. I mean, it's just cool how everyone's kind of riding better than they ever have. I mean, I feel like I know of that for myself, but like all these other dudes, it's like you see everybody riding really well, and and maybe that's not for everybody.
Slides the other week with Dylan on his program. Like, get on,
dude. Dylan, dude. Props to Dylan for really leading the way, putting himself out there. I don't think anybody's put themselves out there as much as he has. And yeah, dude, he's leading the way. So
definitely.
All right, last question. What are your plans for the future? What have you got your eye on?
Yeah. Well, like I said, dude, like the Moab film, like we got to do a proper, few minute, maybe some story. Just, I don't know, go out there. Because anytime we go to Moab, dude, it's like, it's to have fun. It's a session. It's not really been like, let's go make a film. So I think just to do at least one of those trips to really like, in August we were there with Joel and Jason and Dylan, but it was like 105 degrees during the day. And so like we're only really riding like early morning and nighttime. So we didn't really get a lot of time. And we were only out there for a day together before they had to keep moving,
Yeah.
So I think just going out there with that intention to really film in Moab.
Yeah, man, nice.
And then
I look forward to
that. I'm envisaging some kind of journey film with like, involving the actual camp and the trekking, and as well as the riding,
I want to show
the full experience of it.
I want to show everybody how because it means so much to me, man. Just literally just having a fire and sleeping in the dirt. It's like, and you can stay in a hotel and still do that, but I don't think you can really get into the area because you really got to get tuned up. That's what I think. It's like it takes a day to just get like tuned up and like used to the vibe. I don't know. It's a vibe.
I look forward to that. I really do.
Yeah. I mean the Moab film, and then that's the big thing. And then Mapleton, man, I want to figure out a way to make Mapleton shine. Make it something.
Bring it to the masses.
High quality. Yeah. It's just got to be. It's got to be perfect.
Yeah, or even if not to the masses, to the connoisseurs, the people.
Sure.
What's the It's not that connoisseurs is not the right word. The bespoke market, like the handmade, like Chris, bless him, from Good Roads.
Oh, dude, that guy.
He's making. I'd love anybody who's putting that effort into making those products. That's a handmade product. That's worth a premium, or at least in my eyes. But then, what do I know?
No, that would be that'd be awesome. Props to Chris for he's like so high tech, like where he's taking it. Like when I make a board, dude, it's all just like straight analog. I'm like doing like carpentry kind of skills, like straight, that's it. But he's like got it all digital and everything. I'm like, I don't know anything about that world. So
yeah,
it's really cool to see what he's been doing.
Maybe that's the key. Maybe they're blending or something.
Dude, and then the hero, got to shout out to Hero for sure.
Yes.
For really like pushing every aspect of the design. Like those guys, I would say they really pushed me to put my decks out there too, or keep trying different stuff. But dude, anybody who's making stuff, anybody who's making stuff, I mean that's the future right there. It's really up to us. So go support the companies that support mountain boarding.
That's it. I suppose, last question from the show really is there anything that we haven't covered that we should have done in your story?
Any people that you want to shout out that you haven't given a shout out to yet that you think you missed?
Man, anybody? Man, I'm sure I missed so many people, but dude, Tyler Mork is an old school. I don't know.
That's a name I've not heard for a long time.
I met him at Snowmass, like the very first Snowmass event in 2002. And his like my parents pulled right up next to his parents. We're just tailgating out. That it's all these rough, dudes around, and like we're these kids with families and soccer mom kind of thing going on. And it was just cool having somebody else my age who I could continue kind of growing with. Yeah. And dude, he's just killing it at life. That guy is he's like such a hero to everybody. Dude, Tyler Mork, dude, just a solid dude. And then I think I named Brandon and Evan, just the close homies, man. Like we're really we've been able to really meet up a lot over the years and just get some quality riding in. I don't think I've ever seen anybody try so hard to get tricks as much as Evan Carlson. like someone who's just eating it over and over and over again, like he will get it. He will get that shot. So his tenacity, man. Anybody else? I know there's somebody.
You'll kick yourself after when we stop.
Try to name them. Yeah.
Every episode, there's always
yeah. There's so many. It kind of goes back to like the old like DBX forum, man. All the dudes back there. Oh, like dude, Ted Ledoux, Brian Southard, like those guys for pushing like for coming up with a product, Hillbilly Dirt Gear, selling it to MBS. I mean, yeah, like so cool. Frank Beleza was this East Coast organizer who sent me some ironclad gloves for free when I was a kid. I was supposed to give him a review on them, but they just like were durable, so I never sent him a review. Justin Rhodes, mountainboardshop.com, started the hauler. He got so many people and organized so many people. All those dudes who just organized and put themselves out there to use their free time to make it a positive thing for everybody, man. And so when Joel's saying I was like guiding him out there in Moab and stuff, it's like, dude, it's just trying to carry on the flame, you know. I think of mountain boarding, it's like maybe it's like an old shack that's like we're all trying to fix up, and there's like some plumbers in there, some carpenters, and maybe it's like it looks nice, and then it gets abandoned for a few years. We got to come back, clear the cobwebs out.
That's a cracking analogy.
You know, I think about that. I like that. Think about maybe it's like a fire, like a bonfire that comes and goes, and sometimes there's gas that gets poured on it, and sometimes you got to like dig down to the coals and blow on it to start it up again. But yeah, what you guys are doing, especially, man, like you guys have been consistent. Consistent content is the hardest thing. Yeah, and so I think that's what I would love to keep trying to do that more. You know, putting out content, but consistently, it's near impossible. So, but that's the name of the game in 2023.
Well, you've certainly kept us all entertained over the years with, you know, like you say, stacks and archives and just your content in general, dude. It's for a free rider on this side of the pond. It's always awesome to see.
Yeah, and the passion you show for mountain boarding, it comes through, it shines through. We can see it, and we fucking love it.
Thanks, guys. It means a lot to me, man. It's my friendships. It's like just a fun activity. You know, it's adventure. It's like, you know, I like to rock climb a lot as a kid, but now I can kind of like, we're doing rock climbing while we're mountain boarding out there. Like you got to kind of, in Moab, you kind of have to be good at like climbing to get to some of this stuff. And sometimes you got to be roped in. I don't know if you guys saw some of that, but it's just that adventure and just the relationships, man. Been able to do this for like 22 years coming up, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Just so I feel like the Forrest Gump of mountain boarding or something, man. Like I just fell into like all these like different scenes, and it was like I don't know how I got to meet this person, or I got to meet this person, or I got to end up here. Or, you know, it's just all like really worked out, and I'm just so fortunate to have all this in my life. So yeah, thank you guys, and just thank everybody who's out there on the board. And dude, let's keep changing it. You know, this thing's not where it needs to be. It needs to be way bigger. We all have a way bigger vision of it that I think that we just got to get together, keep collaborating, and make it happen.
That's it. I think you sum it up completely there, my friend.
Strong words.
Thank you so much again for your time today, and taking it away from your family and your poorly dog and your lovely wife, and
enjoy fatherhood.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. About to say goodbye and get back into it.
You'll be on the lookout for core ones in the next couple of years, or making mini Mapletons soon.
Oh man, yeah, I want to make a fully padded deck. You know, it's just like this big, like soft, like pool noodle with wheels.
Big shuffleboard for.
Yeah, man, just like a big like sled at first.
That's it.
Sled. So
perfect. Look, guys, this has been episode 51. Back on the grindstone.
I've really enjoyed myself.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Just,
it was truly an honor and a pleasure, and we'll see you guys around. I'll see you guys online.
See you soon, dude.
Right back at you.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Cheers,
take it easy. See you guys.
See ya.
Way aye, man. That was dead canny as out that like. Cheers for tuning out to listen. Now, before you gan yem, don't forget, if you want to keep getting doing with the Dorty Dort fun, like and subscribe. Get amongst it. Shy Ben's getting out.